Hello, everyone. Welcome to the GLORIO Chat, the best anime podcast on the internet. I can't believe we are already halfway through the summer 2026 season. I feel like we just did the preview show or something, but it's...
The wheel of time continues to turn.
Time flies by, but season's still good. Maybe I'll make an argument for Chainsmoker Cat being anime of the year later, but we'll get into that. And we'll try to not have another record-breaking length episode, but I can't make any promises as far
there's so much smoking to talk about.
There's a little less this week. We're taking a break from the smoking behind the supermarket with you while the new episodes catch up. But a lot to talk about. So let's introduce everybody. I'm Jel. I'm joined by Iro.
I'm still here. I'm not dead yet.
Welcome back, Iro.
Yeah. I'm back.
There are people questioning whether you were dead or not.
I was going to say, can you confirm whether you were spending last week dead or not?
Can you post a picture, please, from your hospital?
For the record, I was everyone, I was not hospitalized. I was simply hungover.
So you just felt like you should have been hospitalized.
Maybe you should have been. Yeah. Well, we're glad to have you back.
Thank you. I was too busy playing Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga 2.
Okay. Yeah. I keep thinking about as you're talking about that because I always associate that game with Shadow Hearts because they were in the same era.
Sense. Yeah.
And I remember there was a turning point in my life where I was looking for games to play during the PS2 era, and I remember I went to, I think it was IGN. I was just looking at what are the highest PS2 rated PS2 games, and both that game and Shadow Hearts 2 Covenant Shadow Hearts Covenant, which is Shadow Hearts 2.
Yes. Koudelka 3.
We're near the Koudelka 3, if you will. Was near the top of the highest rated list in the PS2 era, and I'm like, both of those games look interesting, and my local GameStop has a reused copy of both of them. Well, I should pick one to play, and in my sort of sliding doors moment, I picked Shadow Hearts.
This is like that meme where you get to the fork in the road.
Yeah, you forever went down and
what
path
would have happened
the other.
If I had instead picked the Digital Devil Saga? Would I have become an SMT?
I mean, Jel, that's me. That's me on the other side of that aisle, right? Like, I'm the one who picked Nocturne and Rhino.
You became the SMT sicko.
So count your lucky stars, Jel.
I love Shadow Hearts.
That's very surprising to hear Digital Devil Saga rated that high, because I feel like its Metacritic was like, I don't know, high 70s.
This was before Metacritic existed.
Okay. Also, this was definitely in the era of let's rate this impenetrable Japanese game really highly to make ourselves look smart. All love to IGN, but
I'm looking it up here. IGN gave it a 7.8. So
that's a very JRPG score of the time.
Yeah.
I'd seen. Was it the first? Was it the second game, or I don't know?
This is Digital Devil Saga.
Nobody played the second game. Is what I've discovered. Is no one played Digital Devil Saga 2.
Not even me.
Okay.
which is a pity because it's the good one.
I seem to remember it having a very high score. That's how I found it, but maybe I was also just searching.
I mean, RPGFan.com or whatever rated Digital Devil Saga 1 and 2 together as RPG of the decade.
Okay, wow! All right. Well, that's.
Could it also have been like a fan vote, because
high praise
in the 90s and early 2000s, people were definitely stuffing ballot boxes for weird, obscure games that they loved with a passion. Right.
Yeah, I would say that 2 is interesting, and it probably plays a lot better, like thematically now than back then, because now everyone has weird parasocial relationships with people on the internet.
Oh, they were ahead of their time on that one.
Kind of. It's kind of interesting, but
yeah.
Let's not get into that right now.
Yeah. It looks like IGN didn't even review Digital Devil Saga 2.
Nobody played it.
Well, shout out to Shadow Hearts and R.I.P. Penny Blood.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah. Rip Wild Arms.
For the one person out there that might have any idea what the hell we're talking about.
Look, whatever. I contributed to the Penny Blood / whatever the hell the other thing was called, Kickstarter.
The fake Wild Arms.
Yeah.
Don't even remember the name of that one. Yeah.
I don't.
Well, anyway. We also have G. We're joined by G.
PSA to all trainers: if your horse girl does not have at least 900 stamina, you will not survive Virgo Cup.
Okay, firstly, you cannot say PSA to all trainers and follow it with an Uma Musume thing. That's a Pokemon thing. Come on,
yeah.
Like
even I thought Pokemon first. I can't, but yeah.
G would never.
Yeah,
no, not anymore.
G, I thought you were gonna. I'll be honest. I was considering making a Fire Emblem joke in the beginning, but I was like, I'll bet G is gonna bring this up.
It's all right. We have 3 more years.
Look, trust me. Yeah, once that thing's out.
Oh, see, that's a thing. Yeah. I'm saving my bits for when the game is out. But yes, I mean, yes. Shout outs to Anatolia. The maybe low key horniest design to come out of Intelligent Systems.
See, that's I'm with you. I'm with you, G. That's a very big brain take, though. I think
the only thing I got out, I did not watch the direct. I absorbed the direct solely through social media, and the only thing I got out of that direct was that lady has a gun.
They're all fake fans because she was in the very first reveal. Yes, we've known all along that there was a gun with a gun.
Yes. Hey, to be clear, you could check my Blue Sky and go back to March of 2025. I'm talking about the nun with a gun. God. What I was not aware of, because they didn't show that in the original trailer, is you know, that woman just got her pits out, like straight up. You know,
my God.
Sleeveless dress.
I wasn't aware I was on a podcast with a bunch of Fire Emblem hipsters. Like, we knew the lady had a gun before it was cool.
The one thing I remember from the original reveal is somebody had a gun. What's up with that? But
yes.
Now that she has more footage to look at, it's wow, this design is like
it's a SoCal. It's just a fucking SoCal.
The pistol.
Valkyria Chronicles 5, baby.
Hell yeah.
Which character is everybody starting with after they showed that?
I mean, it's
I think we all.
I'm leaning Theodora. You know,
right, okay. You know, once you learn she's got an automail arm,
also just kind of backstory is kind of the most interesting. Like, she's queen of the kingdom that worships the god of death or whatever. Which is like, okay, that's like.
You're saying it's relatable to being in modern America.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Also, just, I don't know why, but like her second in command being a dude named Bonaparte with an eye patch and
that dude
is like extremely funny to me, because like their kingdom is like extremely like fantasy Africa coded.
Right. They're like the desert people.
Fantasy desert people. So you got this dude in like a loose like robe and tunic.
Right,
but also
next to Grant Dynasty.
Just like, I don't know why. Like, I hope that dude's based as hell, because like just based on design, I'm like, this dude might be all right. I don't know, something about it.
I feel like
not Bonaparte. My bad. His name is Bonaventure.
That's somehow better. But yes.
I don't know. He's like shirtless with a cape and a tricorn. I'm like, man, what is this dude's deal?
I think I'm also leaning toward Theodora, although I will say, even if you pick the Shonen Kid or Alucard, because that dude is literally Alucard.
Yeah.
They also have some cool ladies on their team. Yeah. So
you'd think Alucard would be the one hanging out with Grant Dynasty, honestly.
I know, right? Yeah.
Right. So I think you win either way. We'll save we'll have many years of Fire Emblem discourse for that in the future.
Here with the timely Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse joke.
Yes. Shout out to Grant Dynasty. All right. We're also joined by Zig.
Yes.
I feel like every time I get into something, I'm like 4 or 5 years late for the discourse. Like, when I finally got into Souls-like games, you guys had all gone even sicker and started into Monster Hunter. You know, like, by the time I get around to getting into like Shin Megami Tensei games, you guys are probably going to be playing a bunch of text-only RPGs.
Brother, I mean, those games are 20 years old.
Like, you're not. You just Eero literally as this year has been Eero's year of the dungeon crawler, right? Or like I guess last year technically. You know, like, this motherfucker's out here playing wizardry.
Yeah,
Jel, you got to join me. You got to tell me about wizardry.
Well, I actually just bought it because it was on sale for like $10.
Hell yeah.
The new one was like 70%
like the remake
or
or whatever.
I was gonna say the new wizardry.
The remake, the remake of that came out recently.
Yes, I know.
I have not played it yet though, but yeah, well, we'll see. And Zig, you have to play 3 houses before.
Yeah, you have like a month.
Oh Lord!
Oh no, I have 3 years, as I said earlier.
Of course, yes.
All right. Well, let's talk about our shows. We'll get into the list here. So we got lots of anime to talk about, of course, but we did allude to this last episode. There is a new Super Sentai show out. And so
no, there isn't.
Explicitly not Super Sentai. A new Project Red show.
Okay, sorry, the not Super Sentai show, right? And it is called Kakusei Hunter Omegahorn.
Correct.
Is it like Monster Hunter or something?
Kinda, a little bit.
I was gonna say, looking at this poster, is this just the kids like Monster Hunter, right?
It's more the kids like Pokemon.
It's more Pokemon.
I mean, there's some overlap there. Aside from you don't skin your Pokemon and turn them into armor, but
not yet.
So the first and most important thing that you need to know about this show is that the main monster is played by a guy in a suit running around on all 4s, and it rules. It's super amazing. They did like a really nice costume for it with like loads of prosthetics and animatronics and stuff like that. So it has what you want, which is goofy ass costumes.
Right. Tokusatsu parentheses original guys as monsters hitting each other. Yeah.
Men in rubber suits, right?
Yes.
We need that.
So there's a couple of interesting things about this thing. One, yes, it's kind of Pokemon-ish. It's a bit less Pokemon-ish than I thought, which we probably should have guessed, because there's no way Toei has the budget to have like hundreds of different monsters there. And I should point out that everything apart from the main beast is CGI. So
Okay.
This thing is a way more direct sequel to Space Sheriff Gavan than we thought. As in,
right.
The main character from Space Sheriff Gavan is also in this show, and also like all of the other Gavan cast just show up in the second episode.
Right. I mean, it seems to be
reprising their roles from Gavan.
Yes,
yes, they are all explicitly the same character.
It seems to be that because Gavan gets sucked into a dimensional hole or whatever.
So the main Gavan Infinity ended that show by being like sucked into a portal to another dimension, because that show's whole thing was like a multiverse thing. And so he shows up in this show having joined a Visual K band, and no, not literally.
the team of villains are right.
The villains are also very classically tokusatsu coded, which is to say they're all dressed in like massive popped collar leather trench coats, and the lady is like sexy and evil and all of that kind of stuff there. And apparently our hero from the last show has joined that crew, and he's just sort of hanging about, and like they gave him bangs, and now he's
he's evil now.
Yeah, he's sullen and uncooperative, and he is playing the kind of character who, if you were 6 years old, you might go, has he gone evil? Whereas the sophisticated ones among us know that he's probably just pretending to be evil until the right moment.
Of course.
As one does.
Yes, indeed. And so the basic premise of this show is that like people will capture ancient monsters and then battle each other with them, basically. Sometimes this takes the form of summoning the actual monsters. Sometimes it takes the much more financially economical form of just getting cool power-ups for yourself to fight with there. So you can both use the monsters and also turn the monsters into easily merchandisable toys.
So it is Pokemon and Monster Hunter.
Kind of, yes. Except
a little bit of Shaman King in there.
You do not have to kill the monsters before making easily merchandisable toys out of them there.
Right.
It's only been 2 episodes so far. I think this has... I'm not going to say it has more going on than Gavan, but it is at least more interesting to me than Gavan, I think. What's your take?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot more than Gavan. Like, again, 2 episodes in, so not too much to go on, but like, because it is blatantly cheaper. I think I am deriving more enjoyment from like, wow, this looks terrible. Like, what goofy like solutions are they going to try and come up with for whatever situation, right? Like, I like seeing the dude in a suit like just smashed into like a foam wall.
Yes.
That stuff's fun. That stuff is fun to me, right?
I mean, to be clear, by the way, in case anybody is unaware of this, the suit stuff costs a lot more than doing it by CGI, which is why, like, there is a lot of the stuff is just CGI. It is way more expensive to put a dude in a suit, which is why we must treasure it when it shows up.
Indeed. Yeah, and so like I think Gavan took itself like weirdly seriously or whatnot, and this is a bit less so, and so I'm enjoying it for that. I don't think it's particularly good necessarily, but I'm having more fun than I was.
Yeah, I mean, with all tokusatsu, obviously we are grading on a very different curve from a traditional piece of media. Honestly,
would you say that like it looking like it, maybe not intentionally, but more upfront about its lower ambition or cheapness, or however you wish to phrase it, do you think sort of appropriately set your expectations then?
I think it's less that it sets, for me at least, it's less that it sets my expectations and more that it kind of sets the mood, if that makes sense.
Sure. Okay.
You know, we've said many times, you know, television tokusatsu at least is largely a production that rides on like camp, you know, a certain degree of stylish badness that makes it enjoyable to watch. And I think that kind of like the show encourages you to take it a little less seriously than Japan, and that sort of plays into your expectations to some extent, you know, but it also just informs the general mood of the thing. You know, I would say that this is way more pulpy so far. You know, I mean, here's an example. You know, this show is supposedly set thousands of years into the future. It's sort of unclear at the moment there, but the primary location for the first couple of episodes has been what appears to be a Japanese Wild West revival theme park, where everybody is just going around wearing like checked shirts and chaps and 10-gallon hats and like cosplaying as cowboys. And it's all very cheap and very goofy, and that makes it charming to a certain extent.
Right.
You know.
Right.
It's always a delicate balance, you know, because like if you lean too much into your badness, you are just bad, right? But finding that delicate balance between bad complimentary and bad derogatory is tricky, and so far they've been doing it, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we shall see.
So we will continue to report in once we have got a slightly firmer grasp of it. You know, I mean, like Gavan also started fairly well. It also started with a lot of good suit stuff, but I have a better feeling about this just because of the tone of the show, you know. And I will admit there is some intrigue in seeing, you know, like what the connection to Gavan will be and how we are going to straddle that gap. I am not a big fan of the Gavan characters showing up in episode 2 because I hoped we would be rid of those fuckers for a while.
Well, I was going to ask, like, how common or uncommon is that to have like the actual characters of a previous series showing up?
So when it came to Super Sentai, traditionally it was always that the previous team or the next team would only show up in like special event movies and stuff like that. You know, they began to blur that towards the end of the run as a way to get like cheap publicity and all that kind of stuff. But it's very rare for, or at least towards the end of Super Sentai's life, it was very rare for series to be direct sequels to each other. Right. It was a little more common in the early days of Sentai, but
mostly, so it's not like unprecedented.
No, it's not unprecedented, but mostly like the idea behind rebooting Sentai every year was, you know, you make a clean break and therefore you can get a new team, you get new toys, and also you can reuse a bunch of plot lines, right?
Yeah.
So, you know,
you don't have to pay the actors more.
Yes, exactly. You can just cast another. You can just prey on another new set of hopefuls. You know.
Yeah.
But yes, you know. So this kind of like explicit linking is unusual, and I would say it is definitely a sign of Toei looking at like big Western franchises who like thrive on sort of intercontinuity between things and going, oh, hey, let's try and do that.
Writing sequels,
Yes.
as long as they can.
You know, that is made me recall. Thank fuck that Kaguya Quartz has not appeared in Zets.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess you're right. Fuck.
Still plenty of time.
All
Yeah,
right.
no, it's by sort of not explicitly showing what happened, it at least adds a little bit of intrigue. But I think they probably should have saved the reveal for a little later in the show to kind of milk it a little bit. Like the first episode ends with them doing the Planet of the Apes shot with the Statue of Liberty, except it's with one of the big goofy toy spaceships from Gavan, so it just looked completely ridiculous. And I was like, that's a good enough twist. You probably could have saved it for like a couple of episodes in, really. But, you know, we'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, we got plenty of time on that one, so we'll check back back on that eventually for sure. Okay. So let's get into our anime. We've got quite a list still of things we're still watching. Some old show carryovers from last season we haven't talked about in a long time. We'll get back to. So let's start with The World is Dancing. And G, you're still watching this, right?
Yes.
I am as well.
I can't. There's so many shows I can't keep a track of who's watching what anymore at this point.
But,
yes.
So basically, the last couple of episodes have basically focused on Oniyasha and the Sarugaku troupe basically becoming patrons of the shogun Yoshimitsu Ashikaga, and sort of the tension arising from the fact that they are that the shogun is also patronizing a separate theater troupe, the Denkaku troupe, at his palace at the same time, right? And so you have these two rival theater troupes, both under patronage of the shogun, sort of competing and vying for favor, right? And this all kind of comes to a head in basically, long story short, the shogun sort of pits the two against each other in a competition, and the sort of the outcome will determine which one will remain the sole enjoyer of the shogun's patronage. And you know, these are theater troupes, and so naturally the competition must be a dance battle. And I guess it's interesting. Like I guess the sort of setup here is basically to kind of square Oniyasha's journey as an artist, you know, like what has motivated him, what has like driven him to want to be an artist, against maybe an aspect of like, okay, now you found your motivation again. You have found out why you want to be an artist. Now the next step of that is, can you make your art resonate with an audience? Can you now prove you've been able to find meaning in your art? Now can you communicate that meaning to strangers?
Right.
And it kind of gets into this really interesting thing where the first they have a competition, and it's basically to perform the lion dance, you know, the sort of a very classic form of performance art. And Oniyasha kind of has this like giga-brained like you know, plan after observing the movements of a cat, rather than the more traditional lion dance. If people are not familiar with, the lion dance is sort of this Asian performance art in which multiple performers wear a sort of a draping costume with that adorned with the head of a stylized lion at the front, and sort of the movements are meant to sort of imitate and evoke the movements of the animal. And so Oniyasha has the galaxy brain idea of, oh, my lion dance, I'm just going to imitate the movements of like a startled cat, right? Like I'm going to like you know, hop around and like Sorry, what era?
Like avant-garde style,
very avant-garde style, right? Interpretive dance, but to the modern viewer, this is clearly like an interpretive dance, right? Versus the Denkaku troupe, which does sort of a very like staid traditional form of the lion dance. And the key to the outcome of this competition is that what is it? There are, what was it, 12 judges in total.
Something like that. Yeah.
3 from the nobility, 3 from the samurai class, and 6 from the common folk. And the way the outcome bears out is Oniyasha sort of wins the like interest of the nobility on account of the sheer novelty of his performance, while the like common folk are just utterly bewildered by the dance. They have like no framework through which to even interpret it. And so the Denkaku trope wins. And rather than this message being, the proles simply don't appreciate art, it actually goes the other way of, it's sort of the artist's responsibility to temper their performance to their audience, right? Like, this was not a surprise. The judging criteria was not like sprung on them at the last second. They were told in advance this would be the judging criteria for the competition. And so it's very much like explicitly point out the Dengaku troops leader basically does an underhand toss, right? Like literally like tamps down their like potential to like a 7 out of 10. Because they know playing to the hits is going to win with the people who comprise the majority of the voting board. And so Oniyasha's dance impresses the nobility, who have probably seen hundreds of lion dances. And so his novel take on it is, to them, a novelty. It is quite interesting. But, you know, he fails to connect with the rest of his audience. And this kind of gets at the back and forth of like this, you know, not necessarily right or wrong, but like, you know, there's always the push and pull of like, should the audience be grateful to the artist or should the artist be grateful to the audience? And who is serving who? And, you know, there are much fewer Hideo Kojimas and Yoko Taros, you know, than there are, you know, I don't know, Call of Duties and Maddens, I guess, right? Like it's simply the reality of entertainment. And so I thought there was like a really cool, very surprisingly nuanced take on like what is fundamentally the purpose of entertainment.
Yeah.
And even the ultimate outsider artist has to eat sometimes.
That's kind of what it is. Like Oniyasha's decision to do this is like kind of framed as like an artistically noble but materially selfish act, because the loser of this competition is banished from the palace. They will lose patronage of the shogun. Like, people's jobs and livelihoods are on the line, and people are like, Oniyasha, you may have just fucked us. Like, like, we had patronage of the shogun, dog.
Right.
Like,
that's the thing, though, is because like the decisions you might make for yourself are different when you have decisions that when other people are relying on you, right? You have to, sometimes you have to sacrifice your own, when you are a leader, sometimes you must sacrifice your own ambitions for the well-being of the troop, the group as a whole.
Right. And so naturally, because, you know, we can't just have the story end with like,
and then they got kicked out.
Is exiled and disgraced because this is the motherfucker who invents no theater someday. So like, of course it's like, okay, well, we'll do a rematch, you know, and you know, all you know, double or nothing on the rematch, right? And you know, we'll do a different theme this time, not line dance, right? And so, you know, it's you know, curious how this will play out, I guess, right? Because it's you know, I think I still very much enjoy the sort of loop of like Oniyasha does something selfish and dumb, is appropriately punished for it, and must learn to like further hone his craft as a result. I will say, I wonder how many more times of this loop I can do before it starts to get a little like, all right, how does he inevitably fuck up next time? But I think because each time it happens, it's like it's surprisingly nuanced in its like portrayal and approach. Like the Dengaku troop is not portrayed as like, villainous or like malicious. They are merely portrayed as a rival troop with different priorities, and but are nonetheless framed as artists in their own right. And so, yeah, I don't know. I'm continue to sort of enjoy its ambitious, forays into interrogating art.
Yeah.
Even if, like, in some ways, the actual moment to moment of the show itself does not always compel me.
Yeah. I think it's doing a good job of like taking the specificity of like dance and applying that to like and presenting it in a way that is like applicable to various artistic pursuits, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, it's another one I have not had time to watch this at all, and I kind of want to, but I mean, it sounds like it's pretty good. It's tough in this packed season.
I know,
it really is.
If a show isn't like amazing this season, then I'm probably not going to have time to watch it, right? But it does sound pretty solid though.
Does it continue to look good? Because like you guys talked a lot about how incredible it looked in the first episode, and I'm just wondering whether that's fallen off at all.
Maybe slightly, but I would say it's still a very nice looking show. I think it's very well directed. There is definitely a couple of cases of like almost like weirdly unnecessary CG in a couple of shots. Like, like there's a couple of shots where like, they have like, the background like musical accompaniment to the dance. It will be like somebody rhythmically like beating a drum, and for some reason like that's CG. And to be clear, like I don't necessarily want to force the artist to work harder, but like it's just a loop of a guy sitting stationary, and the only thing that moving is his hand hitting the drum. And I'm almost like, would that have been easier to just animate by hand? Like, did that have to be a CG model?
Yeah.
Like, it almost seems like, because that's all it does. It doesn't do anything else. It's not like a background dancer. It's just a guy hitting a drum. It's like a 2-second loop,
Right.
But bits and pieces like that aside, no, it is definitely still a really nice, a very, very nicely directed show as well.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, no, I definitely want to make time for this. It's just, as Jill said, kind of hard in this
very
packed
season. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess while we're in the tortured artist block here, let's move on to draw this then die.
Yeah.
And how are things going on that one?
You've been catching up on this, right?
Yeah.
If you want to,
they have begun their mission and done their mission of the manga club has put together a work to go to Comitia, which is another doujinshi like convention akin to Comiket, though Comiket allows derivative works and Comitia is for originals only.
Yes.
And is held much more often than Comiket. So, the manga club puts together their little anthology of shorts and heads off to Comitia. And so we get to that whole business of like, all right, and here's how Comitia works. Here's your table. Here's how you set up your table. Greet your table mates.
Yep. Clap when the event begins.
There is a bit of drama in terms of being allowed to get to Comitia as well, right? Like they have to promise that
right.
work, and what's her name has to have a confrontation with her mother.
Yeah, I guess if we want to talk about that part real quick before we get into the Comitia proper, I think I definitely appreciate kind of what they're trying to do with like Fujimori sort of confronting her mom about like her desire to draw manga, and of course it culminates in
everything is happy.
She manages to convince her mom because she communicates through her art, what she was unable to do through her words. And it's like, I don't know, like as an art kid with a really strict parent, let me tell you,
that's not how that goes.
That's not how that works. I have shown my art to my parents for 10 plus years now, and they are still like, I don't fundamentally see the worth or value in this. So,
my parents are still like, but why is the person not in the middle of the photo? Surely every photo of a person, they must be in the middle.
It's a nice sentiment, but yeah, sure. I think Comitia itself, like, I think the thing that's actually interesting about this, again, kind of similar to World is Dancing, is this is now getting into the other aspect of art, right? Which is like, okay, you've wanted to make art. That's like the first hurdle. Then the second hurdle is
to make art.
Then the second hurdle is actually making the art, which is also a difficult hurdle unto itself.
Yes.
And then you have the third hurdle itself, which is in some ways the most like potentially like soul wrenching of the three, which is now you have to like convince people to engage with your work.
Yes. The core experience of Comitia after putting all your tables together and greeting your table mates is sitting there for 3 hours while nobody looks at anything you've done.
Yes.
I think, G, it's very. I think you were very right to call it engaging with your art rather than making your art commercial, because it's very clear that this is not a commercial venture, right? They are not selling the manga to make money or to become famous or anything. The reward is engagement from the people.
It is a desire to have people see your work, right? To consume it, to say, to say nice things about it, to create a human connection, right? Like fundamentally, the core like function of art is to communicate with other human beings, right? Like that is in many ways what art is about. And so like it's why it's like, I mean, obviously I think it's true that like artists should create works that are meaningful to them. Obviously I think that is the like sort of like self-sustaining message that should be given to all artists. But also I think a lot of people who say that sort of stuff also like sometimes are maybe glibly ignoring the reality that at the end of the day, every artist wants to be seen. Every artist wants to have their work recognized.
I think one of the fundamental appeals to making art public is you want to make something intensely personal and then put it out there and for other people to go, oh yes, I recognize the thing you are trying to communicate.
Totally, right? And so like it's really charming and heartwarming when like you see how much the girls like lose their shit on their first like sale, right? And it's like that's very real. I can think of like the first time my art like kind of really popped off on social media, and it's like when at the first time I got more than 100 likes on a piece of art, the first time I got 1,000 likes on a piece of art, the first time I got 10,000 likes on a piece of art, and it's like
all right. No need to keep flexing.
look, when I hit 100K, I'll talk about it, but I'm not there yet. But it's like it's a very real thing, right? It's like it's to be seen like that, right? To have people to comment on your art. In my case, I've never had the opportunity to sell my art in person, but it's like it's like that's a super like meaningful thing. And then I think the sort of the other shoe, of course, is Ai's consternation, right? Of like she sort of like creates they have this like main doujin that they are making for Comitia, right? That is like the refined version with Fujimori's art, and then I sort of like at the last minute she's like, wait, I want to make something too, like just for me, right? Like like it has her art in it, not Fujimori's art, right?
Yeah, it's just the awful manga which she did overnight to convince her teacher to form the club. The stuff drawn in biro on lined paper and stuff,
and like it's I'm glad that we're not like I'm glad we're not like fully walking past the subplot of like I has some like insecure, like deep-seated insecurity at the fact that like, oh, is our work just being carried by the art, right? Like and so like when people like page through her doujin and just like immediately put it back, and she doesn't sell a single copy during Comitia, it's like that's brutal, right? It's like making the art was hard enough. Like the rejection is the thing that will actually destroy you. It's like that's what they get at with with Teshima Sensei, right? With the teacher, right? It's like
deafening silence.
There's nothing more cruel to an artist than silence. Like being hated would be easier. Like apathy is the true destroyer of an artist's spirit. And I think I get what they are doing with the editor lady. But
the editor lady is perhaps the realest person who has ever shown up in an anime.
Realist, but I will also say there's a little bit of I'm almost beginning to wonder if Teshima was sabotaged from the beginning because this was her assigned editor. I don't think they'll go that far. I don't think she's meant to occupy a villainous or antagonistic role, but she is a straight shooter, right? And she basically just straight up tells yeah, are you sad that I didn't buy your work? It wasn't good.
Make it better.
Yeah, make it better. Maybe I'll buy it next time when it's good. And that's honest and fair, but also I think
that's an editor's job, though. Right?
Yes, but also I think there's also this aspect of I think as I've gotten older, as somebody who has endured a lot of harsh mentorship over my life, it's I think there's a time and place for it. I don't know if Comitia is necessarily the place for it, but it's you understand the role she's meant to occupy, but I think it's I think that is why you have the important rebound, right? Of
right, yes,
all her friends buy a copy of her dojin, right? It's
I mean, it's. I think it's the teacher buying the dojin that is the most important one, though,
of course,
because they're setting her up as deliberately trying to change the path that she was put on herself, right?
Yes, exactly.
Because she did bend to the every whims of editor lady.
Yes,
and she is trying to sort of ensure that I does not go down the exact same path.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's kind of what really completes the arc of these Comitia episodes for me. Is yes, you made something extremely rough-hewn, but I think the thing that Draw This Then Die constantly reinforces is that all things made by human beings have inherent value, and
yes,
that value will resonate with somebody. And so I think this show continues to really manage this really impressive balance between sort of celebrating the inherent value and creativity against the very real obstacles that it presents, and it does definitely seem like Teshima's story is not finished yet, right? We are continue to get aspects of her flashback. Who threw her phone over the boat? We'll see, right?
I'm still not sure if that's literal or figurative.
Right, exactly.
There's a mild implication she was kidnapped and taken to the island. It's
I'm trying to figure out if it's is the implication that did her parents finally just set an ultimatum of your career has not taken off, you have to come back home and get a real job? Is that what's going on? It's very
kind
real.
Of what I got from it.
It's that I've seen a lot of cases of that happen in my time, and
I feel obliged to mention that when we were watching this episode, when the aggressive shock tooth lady from the other island shows up, Aquagaze just went, "Oh look, it's G's wife."
Yes, right. There's the we'll say rival quote unquote dojin author pen name
in her head. She's definitely a rival.
Yes, very very good.
I don't think we should forget to mention as well. This show's frequently very funny. I think it is still extremely entertaining on a purely comedic level, and I think actually some of those laughs are from the fact that it is so relatable, because you can laugh at kind of the, oh yes, we've all been there, we have all felt these feelings, we have all heard these words, there's definitely an element of not necessarily black comedy, but kind of slightly bittersweet comedy
for sure
as well.
Yes. every time somebody's going through emotional anguish and Hikaru's got her phone out, be like, oh, this is great photo ref.
Yeah.
Yes. I needed some good photo refs of people crying, their souls out over here. Or yes, just you know what I am I would also be I'll tell you what, Yasumi, I would pay 100 yen for your dog
Hell
shit.
yeah, yeah. I'd buy that for $1.
100 yen is so little.
Right, it's so cheap, right? It's like it's the thing
right,
of like
right now that's like 60 cents or something.
Right,
Right.
like
Yeah.
And then you get to own this like basically one of a kind.
yeah, right, yes.
Or did they say they did a print run of like 25 or something?
Right. Well, of their main dojin, and then they did like a print of like a run of 5 of Ai's other one, right? Yes, I would pay 100 yen to own the Meowth is Blue.
I did enjoy the opening scene of them like running off photocopies in a konbini or something like that,
Right.
and then stapling them together.
I know Comic Kid is the more famous one, but I guess the only thing that stuck out to me was like, is this like unrealistically empty for like one of these events? I feel like every picture I've ever seen of Comic Kid, it's like
Comic Kit's only twice a year, right?
Right.
Komitia's like it's 4 times a year in Tokyo and other times elsewhere.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
Also, with it all being all original stuff, you really have to respect the game to come out.
That's probably true.
That's true.
Yes. But
All right.
Yeah, this show's still fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised by how much I'm enjoying it.
Just another one I want to watch and just don't have time. But yes, it sounds pretty good. I did broadly like the first episode, so I would love to get back on this one. If I could pick anything else up, it would probably be this one for sure. But sounds good. All right. Well, let's move to the degeneracy block here, and let's talk about Chainsmoker Cat.
Jell, I might be, might be with you here at the end of the year, man.
These 2 episodes, the show peaked with these 2 episodes.
Yeah, no, it's what's wild how much better this show is getting with each episode.
The episode 5 and 6 were like my ideal vision of Chainsmoker Cat.
Yes, it's
both episodes for various reasons. They cover a lot of different territory here.
I think both of these episodes are still, like, to be clear, very funny, but also like is starting to veer into like also like strangely real, right?
Yes. The sort of like, we talk about this being, black comedy, dark humor and stuff like that. That is based on this layer of reality and sort of, all of the bad things happening, societally and everything that are, lurking beneath the surface of the, dick and fart jokes, right?
Exactly.
So I do think it helps. There's not too much in the way of like, and don't get me wrong, there are gross out jokes in these episodes, but it feels like they're not as much of the focus in these episodes.
No,
yes, Hame Neko does piss herself at some point, but it's very funny.
Yes.
So, and it's just a lot of segments that are not necessarily connected, which is normal, but it just we keep getting these little snippets of what's going on in these cat girls' lives, and
right. Well, I mean, the theme of these 2 episodes feels like, we're in the like Beast Man racism arc of Chainsmoker Cat, right?
Yeah. So we've got like, I think in episode 5, the notable bits were when they play the game of life, right?
Yes, there's that. There's also before we even get there, right? There's also like the Yaku Neko has a like Pavlovian response to the number 12, like the
oh god, yes,
right. Like the implication is she used to be addressed by a number.
Yes. Yeah. there's some dark implications on
but
that.
Yes,
one.
they play like I guess the Game of Life.
And I think the implication is like it's an old version of the Game of Life when it was more racist.
Yes, I think, but also it's like
and so like it's just like normal Game of Life, except you can either be a human or you can be a beast folk, or which is
yes.
So far we haven't.
So I guess this is that the stand-in for Star College, Star Career, like in that stupid board game, like.
Oh, sorry, what?
Like I'm not familiar with that.
Oh, haven't you actually played the Game of Life?
I've played Life.
Yes,
yeah.
I don't know.
Right, like I don't know. They're like starting like at the beginning of that game. You start your track on like I went to college or I got a career.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, kind of. Right. So
two paths.
So they draw cards, right? It's like determines that are like career, right? And so it's like they draw like teacher, lawyer, doctor, and they all have the stipulations of wait, like beast folk aren't legally allowed to have these jobs.
Okay, yeah, because yes, there are. Yeah, my parents and my brother made me play a lot of that board game when I was young, and so yes, like certain occupations in the job deck were like college only.
Yes.
So there's a lot of just baked in beast folk discrimination in the game in this particular Game of Life for various comedic effect, but also it's kind of dark.
Yes, it really.
What was it? The one where they're like, when you reach the end, like, or if you're a human, you try to like marry a beast folk or something, and they like hand you an envelope to read. That's
right.
Don't marry beast folk.
You shouldn't race mix because like it says like beast folk are like
robots.
No, it's literally that, right? It's like God, what is like the whole fucking like thing? It's like it says like, oh yeah, like beast folk can jump 8 meters. They can quietly sneak up on you. They bring up that that
it sounds pretty rad, honestly.
They bring up that all children born between human and beast folk your children are always beast folk.
They're always going to be beast folk. Yes.
So remember the dude in Dragon's Dogma 2 who says the exact thing? These damn beastren are taking over our country because a union between a human and a beastren is always a beastren.
Yeah, it's basically that. Yes.
Oh man.
So
it's
a good example to show like giving you the lore of the world baked into the segment without having to like.
It's also
I guess what furthering the like metaphor of beastmen are just like people who are not fitting into society's ideal of what someone should be.
I mean, it's more than that, right? It's like the idea is like they're a disenfranchised minority who don't even have the opportunities to quote. It's the joke I made last episode. Like they can't even pull themselves up by the supposed bootstraps, right? And it's like also like these set of episodes are like would have solidified as like I didn't really like I didn't have that much of an impression of her when she first showed up, but like Yakuneko is probably my favorite. Right,
yes.
Like Yakuneko must be protected at
Which
all
one
costs.
Is this?
She's the hard drugs one.
She's the one who smokes weed and does heroin. Like it's like she is the one that is trying to be like I could fix her. Like she, she just needs structure. In her life
I think we'll talk more about her.
I just went to kitty rehab.
I think we'll talk more about her in episode 6. But
it's just like she has that one line when they're playing the Game of Life where she's just like, "Can I at least have this in a board game?" It's like,
right? Yeah.
It's like fuck, man. Like then after that, it's a sequence of like she wants to go catch stag beetles during summer, and all of her friends like either like are busy or laugh her off. Or they're like, "What are you, like a 12-year-old kid?" And it's like, I mean, the implication between that and the fact that apparently she used to be addressed by a number as a child, the implications are that Yakuneko did not have a traditional childhood, and it's like, so there's like some real like, this girl just wants to like do things to like feel human again, and this whole sequence is like weirdly like there's no jokes to it, right? Like she's just like asking her friends if they want to go stag beetle hunting, and like when they like either laugh her off or say they're too busy, she's just like,
you can see her hiding her disappointment. Yeah, it's very sad.
Like, and it's like not like it's not super exact. She just doesn't like, oh yeah, no, that's cool. No, yeah, like don't worry. Nah, I was just
I'll just
it's all good.
It's no problem.
Yeah, it's just like pretty like just like pretty sedate and sad.
Yeah. I think it one of the big things that I think we've seen throughout the show, but especially in these episodes, is that it would be very easy for the show to be mean-spirited, and I don't think it is. I think it's very sympathetic toward the cast, even as well, except for Hameneko, but she deserves it.
She deserves it. She plays fighting games.
So and she's a streamer,
the
right?
Ultimate addiction.
And she's a streamer, right? So she's the one the one member of the cast that actually is a terrible person, and she gets what she deserves. But everybody else is portrayed in a pretty like sympathetic way when it could have very easily have just been, oh, these are all awful people and they deserve the misery that they're going through.
And I mean, it's all a spectrum, right? Like, Yanni Neko probably is kind of low-key an awful person.
Yeah, like, she is.
It is a spectrum. And,
yeah, some of them are worse than others, right?
We have all these great little bits about Beast Folk storytelling and Beast Folk world building. And so naturally, we transition from the Beast Folk racism arc to the Beast Folk ancient aliens arc in the second half of episode 5.
Wait, what?
I see.
So they go to
the truth is out there.
They go to this
this commune in the woods.
This commune of I guess indigenous cat girls.
Yes, and they talk about how this is where Yaku Neko gets her quote unquote natural cigarettes.
Yes, they grow various plants that can be smoked here.
Yes. Silver vine, and
this is where she gets her supply from.
Yes.
And it's a group of cat girls that
grow weed in the woods.
They're living. They're like, when I say indigenous, they're living in tents and things like that. Like it's
like straw huts. Like they're wearing
straw huts and and so they go Yanni Neko is being an asshole. As usual,
yes.
She just wants the weed, and
right.
Don't we all?
At one point, she insults the I guess
the chief.
The chief,
right? The chief is talking about how look at these very important traditional tattoos I have.
She's trying to teach them the history of the
and one is phallic shaped and one is yonic shaped. And so, of course, Yanni Neko's just that's a penis. That's a vagina.
Yes. So, she just whips out a ray gun.
Yeah. Just out of nowhere, whips out a fucking 50s gray alien ray gun.
If you guys were paying attention, that ray gun was actually in the first trailer. We've known it all along.
Oh, was it? I don't remember the trailer. Yes, but that's where this is where that comes up.
Yes,
with zero other context or wording.
It's
yes,
very good, and yes,
and no further explanation.
Right, because this whole time they're talking about this, they talk about how they live around this giant spire that has stretches out it's I don't know, thousands, it's taller than any mountain nearby, right? And they're yes, this
Karma Temple.
Yeah, and they're yes, this ancient structure where is from where our ancestors descended from or whatever, right? And so it's are cat girls aliens in this world?
They might have been building the Tower of Babel.
Yeah,
who can say? Who can say, right? But obviously none of that is explained or anything. You just leave that to your imagination, which I love. So that was just hilarious. Came out of nowhere. But episode 6 is a little more down to earth, perhaps a little too grounded in some ways. It's so you get the bit with
Aruneko.
Yes, the alcoholic cat girl, who is probably the least functional out of any of them.
Yeah, definitely. Probably in some ways,
alcohol probably leaves you the least functional of these drugs that have been listed so far.
She has a crippling addiction to alcohol.
No, this is she's the least malicious, but also saddest individual of these cat girls. Just still played for humor, but is completely non-functional.
She lights herself on fire at some point.
Yeah, by accident. Yeah, it's
I guess I've heard stories of such in real life.
But there's I think this bit was one of the most brilliant things they did in the show, where she So she gets drunk, wanders off, trying to go to the bathroom, and somehow ends up in like Enoshima somewhere on a beach. And it's, I love like how little dialogue all of this segment has, and you just kind of piece it together. Because like when I talk about the show being sympathetic and like everyone except Hame Neko is kind of not really depicted as a bad person, and you kind of see how they all in their own ways kind of take care of each other in this segment, right?
Yeah, like this is also the part of like how Yakuneko is like, you know, despite her like crippling addiction to probably,
and also Yakuneko is the like legitimately has done nothing wrong, right?
Yeah, other than her crippling addiction to heroin, like
again, it's
like
fine. It's fine. We can work with that.
Like she is the like, because it's like, you know, they are all kind of shitty in the way where they're all like, you know, because like she's like, is Araneko gonna be fine wandering off by her own? And everyone's like, she'll be fine, right? Like nobody really cares, right? And Yakuneko is the one along with the landlord. And it's just a great, like, it's like the one sequence in this show that actually like maybe like gestures at like why people smoke. They have this like interlude of like how Yakuneko and the landlord like found and rescued Aruneko. The reveal is that Aruneko has a GPS tracker on her specifically.
Yeah, so after she wandered off to the beach,
they chipped her.
Yeah, they chipped her basically. So they actually, it's kind of a neat where they show what happened to her and her getting picked up, and then later on in the episode they flash back to Yakuneko and the landlord just making the long drive out to the beach. Yeah. And it's this like segment of just like a lot of silence and just like awkward, like we don't know what to talk about.
Yeah.
It's very good.
It's just like, it's just like, you know, look, it's just like two people that don't know each other like that well.
Having to, right? One of my worst fears is being stuck in the car for 2 hours with somebody I don't know, right?
Yeah, it's like, and it's like just having to like make like small talk. And so what does Yakuneko do? She asks if she can smoke a cigarette, you know, and it's just like, you get why people smoke, right? Like she just, you know, lights one up, just gets to smoke in silence as like, you know, they drive across, drive along the coast, you know, and it's just like a calm moment in this otherwise extremely shitpost motivated comedy show. It
was very good. And then we get the bit with the manga artist comes back, and
also like weirdly sweet. Like, you know, we joked how the mangaka is like the most evil person in this show, but we get this sequence where like, you know, she's got a deadline coming up for her manga, and her usual assistants can't make it, and so, you know, her editor, you know, contracts out to like some sort of help agency to send like some backup assistants,
some like temp assistants for her
who
manga,
are
right?
all three of them are cat girls, right?
Yes.
And it's like, unlike the usual cast, these cat girls are like, you know,
they're doing their best.
They're well-meaning but incompetent, right? Is sort of the vibe, right? And it's like these are just like cat girls trying to do their best, and you know, they're just not very good at their jobs, right?
Yeah. And it's like, that whole segment, I was waiting for like the other shoe to drop and like, where's the joke? And they never really make it into a joke, which somehow it works. Like you said, it's actually a pretty sweet bit where like, you know, the manga artist lady starts to get a little annoyed because they're not very good, but then she's like, you know, and she's like, can you all just be quiet or whatever?
She kind of takes it out. She takes out her frustration.
She gets a little angry about it. And then like, and you see them all like, oh, we got to do better or whatever. And you like feel bad for them, and she feels bad for them. And then they kind of all, you know, group together to fight the real enemy, which is the deadline and ultimately capitalism.
Yes.
But and you know, it's just kind of a nice moment, and there's no real joke to it. It's just like
really. It's just like, oh, this is just a little vignette of the ways in which people struggle in this life, in this world.
Yeah. And it's like I'm starting to feel like this show could just carry itself on the world building at this point.
Kinda, right? But but I do think the shitpost comedy is important.
Yes,
because like,
it is important.
It is the release valve, right? Because then we flip all the way over to we introduce a new cat. We are introduced to Pen Neko, whose gimmick
what is this one addicted
she's
to?
homeless.
Yes, she is unhoused. But her sort of flaw, she's trying to frame it as some sort of like
noble
philosophical moral decision to not have earthly possessions.
Yes,
right.
Which is completely upended when there's like a typhoon. So she's living like in a tent down by the river, right?
Yes,
and there's like a typhoon going by, so she's hanging out in Yanni Neko's apartment until the typhoon blows over, and she sees her tent getting carried away at the news and like freaks out. That's the joke, because it breaks her illusion that she was not attached to her earthly things or whatever, as like, little as she has.
Yes, the like running joke is like also like voiced by like Yu Kobayashi putting on her best like more baritone like mature lady voice, right?
Yes,
talking about
she's explaining her philosophies on how
how greed is the thing that destroys the human spirit and how we must all like let go of our material possessions. And then, it hard cuts to her like quietly sobbing in her dingy tent because she's so hungry, her stomach hurts.
God, it's so dark.
It's like it's super grim. It's
the laugh to keep from crying thing.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That is the ultimate form of black humor, right?
It's sure.
And the implications of, again, another cat girl being crushed by society or whatever, right? But it's just it's very good. It's very it's a great balance of that and also just being funny. I think that segment might have been one of the funniest ones.
It's really like, I am like, I was strangely intrigued by episode 1, but like episode 1 is like 80-90% shitpost humor, 10% maybe there's something more to this show,
right?
And like I feel like the ratio is now closer to like, I don't know, 60-40, and it's working
good
for me. It's really good.
And it continues to be like, even though some of the actual animation quality dips off a little bit,
it definitely is dipping. It's definitely not as good looking as it was.
The actual like directorial presentation is very good as far as like,
I mean, one of the advantages of being a shitpost anime is occasionally you can cut corners and it just enhances the joke, right?
Right.
Yeah. I don't feel like it's necessarily detracting from it, but in terms of like we talked about before, that segment where they're just in the car and most of it is silence. Like they know when to be quiet, and in addition to also when knowing to be loud, right? So it's very. I'm shocked how how they're pulling this off, but so far it's working. We're halfway through. I mean, we could be. Who knows?
Right. Like, is this temporary? That's the thing I'm like so curious now about this show, right? Like, is this just like, does the show keep going in this direction, or like,
because
this like just a brief vacation in the cool zone?
As recently as episode 3 that we talked about last time which was like all dick and fart jokes.
Yes,
it's like that could happen at any time.
Exactly, right? Like the mangaka will probably go back to sexually harassing her co-tenants like by next episode.
So perhaps we can enjoy it while it lasts, but I hope that we get more of these types of episodes. So,
yeah, definitely.
We'll see. Okay, for the other show in our degeneracy block, G, did you have something to say about Dara-san of Reiwa?
This will be our quick Dara-san minutes. Don't really have much to report. They have the slice of life hijinks continue. It also continues to sort of get into the more like slightly more supernatural murder mystery kind of aspect. Definitely not. We're again, to be clear, this is not the summer Hikaru died. This is horny snake slice of life with like a couple of drops from the supernatural horror food coloring bottle. But I mainly bring up just say shout outs to the episode where Dara-san needs to take on a human form to sort of like go with the kids to like a local like craft fair festival thing, and it's like, okay, well, you're gonna need to have a human form to blend in, and so we'll need to like use your magics to come up with a disguise. And so naturally they arrive at, like what's a really good way for you, the like hot snake lady demon goddess, to fit it amongst humans is to get a goth alt girl makeover. I posted.
Do they make her a big titty goth GF?
I posted in the Discord channel.
Or is this more mommy than GF? I suppose.
It's up. I think it's.
Okay. A little bit of both.
Yeah.
I see. It was very important that we included this in this week's episode.
Yes. Right? Wouldn't you agree?
I'm not arguing.
That's it.
Okay. Well,
what about the robots?
Oh,
you're not on brand. You're not staying on brand no more.
It doesn't matter, Eero. Like, yes, okay, they do a bit about how, like, yes, the little boy who dresses as a girl is constantly, like, it's constantly mentioned that he is a huge fan of like mecha and super robots and like builds Gunpla, and like, I mean, basically, just the justifier of the bit is just like, there's just a sequence of him watching fake Mazinger, reading fake Dragon Ball, and like, watching fake Getter. And like, it is quite specific. It's like, no, this one was fake Mazinger and this one is fake Getter. Like, don't get it twisted. These are different.
They are different.
And, afterwards asks Dara-san if like she could use her magic to fire like energy beams. And she's like, that's not really how ancient Japanese magics work, but like, I guess I could give it the old college try. And, long story short, does figure out how to fire a Kamehameha, but, again, it's just a bit, which does lead to the fun, unique ED, which is, yes, a fake, I feel like there's like a semi-common bit to the point where I'm not even sure how like novel it is anymore, but yes, they do the fake super robot anime OP as their joke ending of that episode.
Yeah.
Sung by Jam Project, it's they're hitting the notes.
The main takeaway I took from this is apparently it's way cheaper to get Jam Projects than I would have thought.
I was going to say either that or they spent their entire budget on getting Jam Projects.
No, I don't like
because the show doesn't look very good.
I highly suspect like every time everybody's like, oh wow, I can't believe they got so and so to do music for this.
It probably isn't as expensive as you'd think.
It's like these people are working artists. Like,
yeah,
they need to pay. Look. Jam Project, there's only a new Super Robot Wars game every like 5 to 6 years. Like, not doing much. The theme song for Super Robot Wars can't pay the bills. Jam Project's got to take smaller gigs in between.
Not many calls for Jam Project style openings these days.
Yeah, that too,
Not
right?
Really.
Well,
like, what was it like? Was One Punch Man really like the last the last time their music was used like as not a bit?
Maybe, yeah.
I mean,
there have been Garo shows since then, but
right.
Okay, that counts. I would say Garo. Like, yes,
Garo. I think they do some themes for some other stuff too, but
yeah.
Well,
if you guys want to chip in, maybe I can get a Jam Project.
Yeah, look, we can do that. We can, based on how often he appears in indie games, it seems like Akira Yamaoka is also pretty cheap to get. So, like, we could just collect the set.
If I can figure out how to contact the right people, yes. Yen to dollar is real strong right now.
Yeah, I know. Right?
We're practically getting a 40% discount.
Actually, once you buy a certain amount of Gal Gaiga merchandise, you just get Masaki Endo's phone number.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
all right. Well, if we all just chip in to get a Soul of Chogokin Gaigar with Goldie Marg.
Guess who already has one of those?
Right. Well,
so you already have his number.
No, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying.
My way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
All
Send it my way. We'll work it out. All right. Yes. Well, I agree, G, that bit is getting a little overdone, but I do appreciate it when it's
it's fun every time it happens. But yes, it's
might as well do while those guys are still alive.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's not.
Sorry.
I feel like at this point,
you're not wrong. But
if you're going to do the bit, you have to do it at least as far as Pop Team Epic did, and just make an episode of your fake show. Like,
yes,
I mean
that's the qualifier.
That's easier in anime than in live action as well. So
true.
Also, TM Revolution must be the bad guy.
Yes, that's also a requirement. All right. Well, I'm glad you brought that up, G.
Just sometimes something newsworthy happens in Dara-san.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to Young Ladies Don't Play Fighting Games. How has that been going? Anything of note?
I dropped this show.
Okay, Zig, you dropped it.
I think that's fair. I think compared to Sayonara Lara, this dog is much worse at playing chess. I
don't know. We'll talk about Goodbye Lara later, but
we will. Don't worry. I watched today's episode. I got thoughts.
Episode.
Don't worry. We'll talk about that dog and what moves it's making.
It's making it's either a genius or I don't know, but
yes.
Yeah.
But yes, anyway. I guess I would say I totally get where you're coming from, Zig. I feel like I would not want to force you to watch further episodes. I would say them going to Evo Japan is like where I think like some of the better bits in this story happen, but it's the slog to get there is understandably like maybe the juice is not worth the squeeze here.
Yeah,
these last 2 episodes,
it's not so much that I found anything egregiously wrong with it. It's just that I wasn't really seeing the appeal either.
right.
Perhaps this is snobbish of me, but the bits are just not good enough. Like they are not broad enough to be appealing to like a regular audience, but they are not specific enough to make me go, they said the thing.
Right.
It's just sort of generically, I mean, like we talk a lot about shows that are just girls do X, and I think that a really good one of those can break out of those boundaries, but this doesn't have that kind of skill involved, and so it's just kind of like, hey, thing I know, and also lesbians. And,
I think so.
I've seen enough anime.
Yes, I think these last 2 episodes have sort of been, I would call them the prelude to the Evo arc of Young Ladies Don't Play Fighting Games, right? Which the last 2 episodes have mostly focused on them preparing to go to Evo Japan. And that's not just training, that is also getting permission or fabricating a believable enough alibi for why these 4 girls need to fly out to or take a train to Tokyo.
Yeah.
And where they can sell their dojin at Kamitia.
Yeah, kind of. It's funny that both these shows are doing this arc at the same time. And
I'm looking forward to the episode where they rack their moral consciences about going to Evo.
Yes, they get into like, with White Lily, they're basically like getting into finally asking the question of like, if you're just this like fighting game obsessed like no life gremlin, how the fuck did you even get into one of these like fucking super bougie all girls academies in the first place, right? And then they finally explain that it's it's kind of a funny bit where it's basically just like, she played video games so hard as a kid that like her grades cratered, and then her mom locks her computer in a safe and is like, I'll give you back your computer, your video games, if you could do one of 2 things. One of them is to get accepted into the high school of my choosing. The other is to best me in physical combat.
Okay, is her mother like a martial artist or something?
Yes. So she fucking beats the shit out of her kid.
Jeez.
It's pretty good. Like, it's almost like, this is what the show could have been doing if like it wasn't just using Street Fighter 6 footage, because it's like a weirdly like, it's one of those classic things of like a slice of life comedy which does not have to reserve its budget for big Sakuga moments, means that like when it does decide to do so for like 60 seconds can really turn it on. So, Just
right. It's like this could have been a fake match in the fake fighting game, like if it was not Street Fighter, right? Like,
well, it could have been, it could have been styled like a.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Exactly. Yes. So yes. It's played for laughs, to be clear, but yes, it's like this like classic closed eyes side ponytail woman is like doing axe kicks that are shattering the hardwood floors of their home. It's a fun little bit, but it basically just explains like, okay, like why is she in this situation in the first place? And yes, they have to convince the mom that yes, we are definitely taking a wholesome all-girls trip to Tokyo, and definitely not there to do some degenerate fighting game shenanigans for sure. And that's basically the 2 episodes. By the end of the latest episode, it's the night before Evo Japan, and they're framing it as okay, like just they're about to enter their first like for a lot of these girls, their first major tournament, their first local, so to speak, right? And I think just as somebody who's somewhat more familiar with like the manga, I do think personally for me, like some of the best jokes do arise from them attending Evo, like. Because I just think
it does seem like the kind of environment where you could get a variety of wacky guys to show up.
And that's the thing. And I think that's the thing that's like much... And it's like to the point where it's like, I kind of wish this wasn't even about these girls at an academy in the first place. Like, if this was just a show about 4 girls who are really into fighting games and just like it's about them attending locals or playing against other peoples or entering tournaments, honestly, that's like probably a better version of this show than the one where it's like, oh no, we like fighting games, but we're both girls.
Yeah, I was going to say, would it eliminate the weird like gay baiting as well?
Yeah, because like again, it's like this Evo arc has some just really funny ass one-off like players in the bracket. As I've mentioned repeatedly, it does the bit of like even the best player in the world can just run into the roadblock that is like the Diamond 3 Ryu, who just does run up Shoryuken like 3 times in a row, the classic Ume Shoryu, and like that can just ruin your bracket prospects in a best of 3, and stuff like that, or just like how toxic people can get,
the guy who just keeps pressing the heavy punch button until he can't press it no more.
Exactly, just this Ryu is going to keep hitting donkey kick, and it's your fault if you get in the way of it. But yes, I think again, I'm not going to tell you, Zig, to be like, oh, just like get through the slog till you get to the Evo episodes. I don't think it's necessarily worth that, but and in some ways, I just think it is a shame that this show, like, I think what qualities I think it does genuinely have, like, you have to.
It's not playing to its strengths.
Yes, right? I think that's all. It feels like the show does not play to its strengths, and as it goes on, the girls' academy stuff just feels increasingly like a weight around the neck of the story of the characters of the show.
Right, and that's disappointing because it often feels like these elements are only there out of commercial. I mean, we were just talking about Draw This Then Die and The World Is Dancing, the tug of war between commercial and
right.
Artistic things, and a lot of the time it feels like, oh, I wanted to make a manga about fighting games, but the only way I could do it was to make it about a bunch of lesbian schoolgirls who are very pretty and also like to gaze deeply into each other's eyes on
right
occasion.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm like I said, I don't hate it. I'm not uninterested in seeing that stuff, but like there is so much stuff this season, and
yes, this
other
one,
things
like,
that
I was going to say this feels like in lesser seasons we would keep watching, but
yes, for sure. In this season, it definitely does not hang. But I think for me, it's just as someone who's familiar with the manga, I will keep going a little more just because I really want to see that Guile player say that all Zangief players should kill themselves.
Yes.
He's not wrong.
Yes, no, certainly not.
All he did was spin in a circle. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to talk about some shows that we haven't talked about in a long time, but have been ongoing since last season. And we're back to Digimon Beatbreak.
Yes.
It's been a while. What war crimes have been committed since we last...
some good old-fashioned murder.
Yeah, just some straight murder.
The original crime.
Yes.
Okay.
The first crime, one might
Yes.
say. So, what if there was a guy who was the Joker?
I thought we already did Jokermon.
No, that's what if there was a Digimon who was the Joker.
Oh, now we're gonna have a guy that's the Joker.
Okay, like it's mostly a bit, but like basically this latest arc has been about our nice, lovely, largely sweetheart mentor character Kyo, who is like the only actual adult in the group and is also kind of boring because he's just nice and wholesome. And how he used to be a sicko who went around murdering people in Digimon, and he has a dark past.
Oh, okay.
And like, also he used to run with like this guy who was a super sicko and can has the power to unleash cool dark versions of Digimon and control multiple Digimon at once. And like, they kind of play it for like mystery at first, like this guy's hunting down Kyo because apparently Kyo thought he killed him by throwing him off the Reichenbach Falls, but it turns out it's not the actual Reichenbach Falls. But he does
say, wait, really?
No, but he does. He does like throw him over a waterfall.
Sure, okay,
to his supposed death, and so we gradually like Kyo. Goes, it's time to go back to the old me, puts back on his tokusatsu jacket, and pretends to beat up all of our main characters because now he's evil and has gone dark again. But then we learn his tragic backstory, and it turns out that he was made whole by the love of a good family who were then brutally butchered on screen. And it's fairly predictable, but like it's a pretty good dark past couple of episodes.
It's still just like, even though like multiple people have died in this show, like it's still slightly jarring for them to just be like, yeah, here's this corpse floating in the water, like here's this girl like bleeding out from a stomach wound, we stabbed her.
Yeah, we meet this like lovely schoolgirl who is like who would, butter wouldn't melt in her mouth. She's a friend to all Digimon, and then like by the end of the episode, she's lying in this pool of water, bleeding out.
That is like, because obviously it's like kids shows are no stranger to
violence,
violence, and that's actually really violent if you think about it, sort of way, right? But like,
sure,
that makes mundane violence feel like weirdly way more.
Yeah,
stands out a lot more in these types of shows.
And it's weird because like there's still some weird restrictions that they do, like when they're showing Kyo in his like killer phase, like they have like the opponent is like on the ground and he's like begging for his life, and they show Kyo draw a knife, just like a regular ass knife, out of his jacket, but they can't actually show him stab the dude, so it just cuts to afterwards, and like you're left to imply that
somehow the aftermath is better to look at.
Yes, and then like
it's worse, but
yeah, and like they are very reluctant to say that like Kyo used to kill people because he's meant to be a good guy, so like they focus a lot on him supposedly killing this guy who then came back because he wasn't really dead, and sort of skim over the bit where he was like killing people and deleting Digimon left and right before like he was redeemed by the love of a good family. It's weird, and it has sort of the fun atonality that a lot of the show has had, where like insane things are happening and the people in world are not quite reacting the same way, the right way. honestly, at this point, I am just kind of, wow, they did a whole arc about character development. They provided backstory to the characters. We are not aiming incredibly high here, but it was like they have been alluding to the fact that like Kyo has had a dark backstory almost since the beginning of the show.
Sure.
It was established a long time back that he used to be a member of like the gang of elite Digimon tamers that they're going up against. What they call the 5 stars.
Yeah.
He used to be a member of those, and so like that mystery has sort of been hanging over the whole thing. And it's not an especially inspired delivery, but they delivered it and stuck the landing. And given the history of the past few shows, that's something to be commended, at least.
Right. Iro, do you have any thoughts on the since in the past?
That about says it. Yes, Digimon has never like really been a stranger to bursts of violence. I would say, yeah. I mean, like
when at least 33% of your Digimon are guns, right?
Right. I mean, yes. I mean, look, I have vivid memories of being a child and watching that original series, and like Waymon gets blasted through with a laser, and like.
Look, man, Leomon's always getting got,
Yeah, but Leomon dies in a like, I've been flash of light, gets struck by lightning or whatever. But then like Waymon had a hole in him,
right,
and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But Ghost Game was fairly like, despite the horror theming and despite people also dying in that show, it was like fairly tame.
The most horrifying parts of that show were implied, like that episode where like the egg Pokemon just ate all those people.
Right, but like the frankness in
someone
which
getting stabbed, which is like the most violent way to die, right? It's
just the frankness of like, yep, this person is dead because they were stabbed.
Yeah,
a thing that famously kills people.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. All right.
One thing I will mention is that they announced, kind of like they straight up put out like a press blast that said, "Oh, we are now entering the final arc of the show." So the show's got about another 13 or so episodes to run. So it appears they are fairly dedicated to kind of like. It seems like
maybe not even that much. I think it's going to end at the end of the season, right?
No, I think they have said that it's going to have 45 episodes. It's either 44 or 45 episodes in total. So I think there is like a cour's worth of material left.
It's crazy in 2026 to see your final arc is like a whole 12 episodes or whatever these days, unless you're Attack on Titan. But
they've been fairly loose with arcs, and also like kids shows are one of the few areas where like the 50 episode show is still a standard,
still a thing. Yeah.
So like I think that going into this final arc, they have not necessarily built like a compelling through plot line, but there's enough stuff that they can put.
You got enough time to work on it. So
there's that as well. There, yes, obviously, but still fun.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So the other show to catch up on is Demons of the Shadow Realm. We know Sugai, if you will. Been a long time since we talked about this one as well. Anything cool happened since we've last left off?
Oh God, where did we leave off?
The dual wielding edgelord kidnapped. Fake Asa and the perpetually traumatized child.
Right. I guess we're still pretty much after like dealing with that actually.
Right. So like. I would not say it's complicated, but this is probably the most involved arc of Yomi no Tsugai up to this point. Like, there's a lot of moving parts, right? So basically, this villain has taken hostage someone important or nominally important to Yuru. So Yuru, along with Left and Right, go to investigate that. Naturally, it's a trap. Yuru gets himself kidnapped by the villains. So Left and Right are left to fight against this double katana edgelord on their own, and it's Left finally gets to do stuff other than just look extremely hot, which that's nice. Yuru gets kidnapped and introduced to a like sub faction of the Kagomori clan, who kind of are going against the whims, the goals of the head of the clan. Meanwhile, you know, Dara is also figuring out like some shit, and trying to find and rescue Yuru, and like having to like form like these sort of like cautious alliances with other members of like the Higashi village faction.
Bald guy's a mole. Like,
yes. Meanwhile, there's a
family.
mole within in Kagomori Mansion who attacks Asa, and so, or is it Asa? It was actually a trap. We knew you were a traitor all along. So we have a fight there. It's also the old man is here, and like naturally someone has to have the gimmick of because in a show that explicitly adds the rule of everybody can have a set of 2 demons, like that's the rule.
Everyone has 2, and like if you want more, they have to be compatible with each other. Like to get along.
He has his power is the isekai weakest but secretly the strongest. His power is he has he's like Stacker Pentecost from the hit 2013 Guillermo del Toro film Pacific Rim, in which he brings nothing with him into the rift. He has perfect compatibility with all demons, and so he's doing the thing that all Pokemon trainers would do in real life, which is, why would I only attack you with 1 Pokemon at a time? He summons all 20 of his and just jumps fools. Which is, to be fair, really satisfying to watch. A lot is going on. It's a very involved arc, and I think there are times when I get a little like I wish this show would like go a little faster. But then on the other hand, just summarizing all of this here in this podcast makes me go, I think the only reason I'm even able to like successfully internalize a lot of this information is because of the deliberate pacing of Yomi no Tsugai, which I think is working in its favor, because this is a little bit more complicated than your standard Sasuke retrieval arc or Dark Tournament. This is unironically like a shonen battle arc with politics, like lowercase p politics. Like there are factions, people are creating temporary alliances against.
So, what you're saying is, unlike most shonen shows, this one is about the characters.
I mean, like, and see, now that you have watched this far, like, this is like the stuff I was trying to communicate when we first began watching. Of like, how do I explain like that the plotting of this is like kind of complex and interesting, that in a way that like its peers are not, right. As to whether it like pays off like satisfactorily, like that'll depend on you. But
indeed, but
yes, I think, like a lot is going on, and like it all makes sense given the motives of the characters and whatnot. Like, and so I feel like we say this every time of like, it's not really playing in the same space as other shonen shows, like that are relying on more like, like bombast or like strong imagery and big fights and stuff. Like this is just like, wow, a like intricately plotted story with like characters with motives.
Yes, like if one wanted to be like, uncharitable, you could argue Yomi no Tsugai does not have hype moments in Aura. Like it is not that type of show. Even when characters are doing cool things, it is sort of in that more older, understated way, right? Like when right and left are fighting the dual wielding edgelord, and like and right and left like score a definitive like advantageous blow against him. It's not portrayed as like a mappa, like we're gonna spin the camera 360 degrees.
It's not a chapter end splash page.
No,
right? Yeah,
and I would even go as far as it's not even like a JoJo.
Right.
Yes, this is a very cool trick you've played.
No,
like
right.
it's just a thing that happens on screen, and a slight amount of significance is paid attention to it. But like, it happens and then it goes. And it's just like, all right, yeah, that's how they scored a win on him. Anyways, moving on. In a way that is, I think, very different from the current shonen anime adaptation meta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is. All right. I think it just keeps up a solid high standard throughout, right?
Yeah,
and in some ways that makes it difficult or arguably even dull to talk about
a little bit, right? There's a bit of funny, if unfortunate, again, not discourse, quote unquote, just some small interactions happening online because people, some animation old or Sakuga old heads were heavily praising a sequence in one of the recent episodes of Yomi no Tsugai where Yuru throws a knife. And that's it. He dives to his side and throws a knife, and it's a really well acted bit of naturalistic animation. It just looks really believable. And
but at the end of the day, he's just throwing a knife.
Yeah, and so some Sakuga
throwing no fireballs,
right? And so some Sakuga new heads, right? Some newer members, people in the Sakuga watching community were why are some of you old heads praising this sequence so much? All he did was dive to the ground and throw a knife. It's not even it's not even as impressive as the end of the Demon Slayer movie, And it's just
it's different.
This is the thing, right? The old man cope I have to give is it's. Look, I'll grant you, it is not as impressive as a guy charging his blade in his sheath.
Right.
To be fair, according to what I've read, the second coming of Jesus Christ would not be as impressive as the end of the Demon Slayer
Sure,
movie,
it is not as visually impressive in that way. But if you are someone who appreciates animation as the abstraction of real life.
To be clear, I'm not arguing that the Demon Slayer movie looks that good. I'm arguing that people keep telling me that it is that good.
And to be clear, I don't want to say these people are wrong. Yes, of course the new shonen meta makes for very
but maybe these people should watch Eizouken, right?
Yes, exactly.
The bit where they're I want to animate sliding down a hill.
Yes,
it's yes, because the intricacies of this basic action are quite difficult, right?
Right, quite impressive in their own way.
There is a reason one of the longest standing memes surrounding animation is the inability of people to draw horses. Right?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I guess we can't segue because of the ordering of the list. We cannot segue from that to Jaadugar, but
we'll get there.
Yes.
Animated horses shall return after we talk about our next show. Yeah. So, yes, let's talk about Goodbye Lara, or Sayonara Lara, if you will.
This dog is making some bold plays.
I am willing to die for cake.
I'm willing to die for cake.
Yes.
I won't die.
I think the header of this episode is going to be Lara flashing her fistful of 1,000 yen bills.
Yes. What was the joke, a new Monopoly mermaid has hit the Monday.
Her cream cash rules everything around me moment. But yes, episode 5, Lara gets a job.
Yes, probably my favorite episode of this show since the boxing match one. This is
which was only 2 episodes ago.
Yes,
but yes, this is Lara gets a job at somehow at a bakery.
I know,
and learns the soul crushing reality of your day job pulling you away from what you're actually passionate about.
There is some good the struggle to get a job in the modern days.
Yes, along with just getting a job in the first place.
You found the magic shop run by an artisan who doesn't give a shit about anything, right? Who's just fuck, sure, whatever, kid.
Well, to be fair, it is also that Lara's resume is
Yes, does not exist, right?
I do like the fact that she reads like the stock line off for every interview.
Yeah.
Like, I'm passionate about the company's mission or whatever, even when she's applying for like ridiculous jobs that have no relation.
I mean, I appreciate, because also Mari is also coming along to look for a job, right? There's the great bit, of course, of like Mari's grandma is like, Lara, you're freeloading. You gotta by the way, you gotta pay for that broken window. You're just eating snacks and watching TV. Like, you gotta do something in your life, right? And every time they're like doing these interviews, right? Like, Lara's like, I'm the princess of a fallen kingdom, and Mari's like, I just need money. That's like, look, let's be real. That's the only reason why any of us fucking work.
I'm looking to like work a day or two a week because I need money.
But this bakery job little thing is it's very charming. It has like strong Kiki's delivery service vibes, right? Like like a magical person being introduced to the banal mundanity of work.
Yes,
always a reliable source of laughs.
Like, yes, like we're making cakes, and yes, they're delicious and look nice, but like, yes, this is a job, right? And
making cakes at scale means hauling around a lot of shit.
Yes. Shout out to just the fucking. I've seen a lot of people just loop the shot of Lara getting sandwiched by the elevator door, which is very, very funny.
It's a fun, I think, character world building type of episode, which ends on a bombshell, right?
Right. So this is the thing where I'm telling you right now, the world in which Sayonara Lara is like 26 episodes. Like we are in Bakery Namek. Like we're getting like 4 episodes about Lara in the bakery, and so. I hope this is not the last we see of the bakery, but this episode feels like, before we start getting into the bombshell plot stuff, I just want to say, I feel like this bakery stuff feels like almost like a bittersweet vestige of like what this type of anime like used to be, right? Yeah. Like,
it's a very episode 5 of 12.
Yes. Like, it's episodic, but also I think very valuable to building the characters. And in a better world, you would have even more episodes to like develop, like, Mari and Lara's relationship as co-workers at this place or something, right? But instead it's like one episode, and
there would be a whole episode of Grandma going, "You're a freeloader. Let's try and put you to work around the house on various comedy tasks," which you wouldn't tell about.
And then
the end of the episode is, maybe we found you a job at this bakery.
Exactly.
And then we go into bakery time.
I mean, I'm glad we got anything at all, right?
For sure.
Or like, I could see other shows turning this into like a 5-minute montage or something, right?
But yes, we are entering the plot zone, for better or worse.
Yeah. So we get the bombshell with what we've known. She's already seen her sister Lisa, right? Yes. But now it kind of comes to a head where Lisa's like, nope, you can't be with the humans, right? And we're gonna fight whether you like it or not.
Yeah, so Lisa is also saying beast folk and humans cannot
coexist. Cannot to be in, right? And it's like, well, they did keep her in a cage.
Yeah, so this is right. So
the mermaid kids are always going to be mermaids.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yes. Mermaids can leap 8 meters in the air and swim.
That's not what Lisa's propaganda would say, though. Her problem is that the mermaid and human kids will.
Oh yes, there will always be humans. Yes.
So I guess we get into like, yes, Lisa confronts Lara about like, all this, right, and all culminates in Lara realizing that Mari is potentially in danger. Once again, summons the big fish stone.
We didn't even know it was a big fish.
I didn't even know that was a fish. Yeah, until it opened.
It was like fish shaped, but
yes, which is always a
stone obelisk.
Yes, for some reason this causes the whale to colony drop onto.
You think for a second, wow, I can't believe they just fucking killed that kid, but he's fine next episode. But
he's fine,
he's fine. But then we get to episode 6, right, which is like we get into Lisa's backstory, which reveals, that the 2 greatest threats to Sayonara Lara are, of course, the white man and straight people, the straights.
Yes, we get Lisa's, what has she been doing in the past 250 years or whatever it is, right?
And the answer is mostly suffering.
Yeah,
mostly suffering. You can see why she is a
little skeptical.
She has a sense of urgency, and why she is skeptical of this whole thing. Why she mistrusts humans.
Yeah. I think it works well because like it's not just that Lisa is like just it because obviously the I think the implication but like the theming at the beginning of Sayonara Lara is all the mermaids are just parroting this anti-human propaganda, but Lara is the one who's willing to like make the connection and make them as fellow people, right? And I think this episode is really important because it shows that Lisa is not just somebody who is like taken by
she's not just blindly
she has reasons for what she's saying.
Exactly, right? She's not blindly bigoted. She has experienced unbelievable hardship at the hands of mankind, right?
This episode is really dark when you stop to think about it.
Yeah, she sees the worst of mankind, and like the way they portray her like imprisonment and like dehumanization is like there's some really impressive like direct they do the classic thing I think we all love in media of using the repeating shot to emphasize like
the passage of time.
Yes, right. The lights turning on, the clapping of the hands, right?
Yeah.
Very effective.
And cost effective.
Yeah. And yes, we finally get the origins of who is this kid that's coming along with her, and it's her little God, what wasn't the name of that fucking fish that's with Ariel?
Flounder.
Yeah. This is Lisa's flounder.
Video game Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. This is Lisa's flounder, which is an anglerfish who becomes human to save Lisa, which is a fun bit. And
then we get a Chainsmoker Cat plotline where they have to desperately extend their supply of drugs.
I was about to say, wait, where are you going with the Chainsmoker Cat analogy? But sure. Yes. We find out that the potion's effects are temporary, and without access to the potion or the witch, they need to find some way to extend their human forms.
Or you dissolve into sea foam, as with the story.
Yes. Yeah. They team up with a sort of I don't know, Serizawa-esque doctor figure.
And I think it's really effective how they introduce this character and sort of just immediately age him through his entire life.
Yes, this man devoted the rest of his life to this medicine and was still unable to perfectly replicate it.
And it really emphasizes as well the incredible amount of time that is passing.
Yeah, right. Like Lisa's flashback starts in 1783 and it culminates in 2026. This is
right. I did enjoy hopping into 1931 and 1984. And,
yes.
But
and it's of course she would be so much more hardened and cynical about human nature, right?
And this is another one too where I'm glad we got a full episode, because this is another one where I think other anime could have just made this a 5-minute flashback, and I think doing the full episode adds the right amount of weight to her her motivation.
I mean, there's also the whole thing where she meets her decaying fucked up dad.
Yes.
And he's to bring Lara back to life, I sacrificed the light which gives the rest of us life. And so she's like, why did you do that? What you sacrificed everybody else to save Lara, basically, right? So it's
there's that, and then
she has reason to have some animosity towards Lara personally as well,
and also shown to be very explicitly on a deadline, right? And so there is a time component to her pressure to and to be clear, even though she's framed antagonistically towards Lara, I think it's very important that it is still coming from a direction of familial concern, right? Because the idea is she wants to save Lara, right? That is sort of the motivating factor here. And in her misguided way, she thinks that Lara falling in love with a human will not save them, right?
Right. She thinks she's doing the right thing to save everybody, right? Which is where you get some of the best antagonists, right?
Yeah.
Where they have, reasonable motivations.
Do we meet the real final boss here at the end of this episode?
Yeah. So where that goes, we'll see. It's not really clear what exactly she wants Lara to do. I guess maybe go back to the castle or something. I don't know, but she definitely doesn't want her to be with the humans, right?
Yeah.
And at the end, the bombshell at the end of episode 6 is the reveal of this person who looks exactly like the prince that Lara remembers. That's sort of the cliffhanger, right? Not much happens at that scene other than the realization that this looks like the same person.
Mario solves all of her problems with her fists.
Yeah. And so we're not really sure what's going to happen after that. We'll see. It does raise a lot of questions, though, I guess.
Right. Like, it's a thing of like, the enjoyer of sophisticated narratives in me would like to believe that everything that this show has displayed up until this point is making it abundantly clear that the person Lara cares about most in the world is Mari. Like,
yes,
but also
that the prince is like this sort of unattainable,
goal
that it's not a real thing or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's never going to care for her.
Also,
anime.
This is anime, dude. It's this. There's a little bit of controversy over this week over, I guess, apparently the person who I don't think it's like, we'll see how much this amounts to anything, but I guess there's been some controversy over the fact that I guess the author that they have contracted to handle the novelization of Sayonara Lara is somebody who has apparently in the past has made disparaging comments towards Himejoshi and Yuri as a genre. And so fans are like, oh god, is this the canary in the coal mine about the real direction Sayonara Lara is going? If this is the type of person they are going to hire for the novelization.
I can't do this again. After Wonder Egg Priority, I cannot do this again.
And this is what I'm getting at, right? Is this is why as much as I am really enjoying Sayonara Lara, it is rapidly shooting up in my rankings of shows this season. There's also this part of me that's I feel like you cannot take your eye off of queer-coded Japanese fiction until the bell rings, right?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah. And in the case of Witch from Mercury, sometimes after the bell
even after the bell. Sometimes they'll insist that those were friendship rings.
As much as I do want to note things are a lot better now in 2026 than they've been in the past.
Yes.
The fact that it's even possible that is an improvement. I agree. They could swerve any which way to the novelization thing. It's I'm assuming the original writer was whoever wrote the anime, because that's the original source.
That's the original source. To be clear, this other person is someone who's
they're just translating into novel form.
Exactly right.
They would not have they theoretically would not have the creative control to set what happens.
But I think it's just I think certain people who have become very attached
the internet
to Sayonara Lara.
The internet will find a way to get mad, right?
Yes,
but,
and I think maybe to a certain extent are just because of the track record of queer-coded Japanese media.
Yes, probably
even works that are explicitly not, disparaging of gay people or gay relationships. Anime does have a pretty extensive record of chickening out at the last.
I think that's more what people are worried about, right? Is that we're going to have a heteronormative last minute swerve, which I to be clear, I think broadly I do not think that is going to happen just because of what they have shown so far. But I think the introduction of the Princess reincarnation is certain to throw intentionally, I think clearly it's an intentional narrative choice to throw a wrench into the developing relationship.
That's another factor, right? Because part of the text of the show is the struggle between what is meant to happen in the fairy tale and what is actually happening. So, is the prince just here as an antagonistic figure, maybe.
Yeah. I think as of right now, that is where we're leaning.
I think the show deserves the benefit of the doubt.
Of course.
Because I think but yes, you can't rule out any possibilities at this point, right? Yes. So, because I do feel like it's kind of depicting the original story of the Little Mermaid as like that was never going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Like that
maybe this was a bad idea.
That was a fairy tale, not a reality, and I think like I said, I think they deserve benefit of the doubt for the moment. We'll see where things go, but an interesting twist. I mean, it was going to have to happen eventually, right? Like this was going to have to come up at some point. I mean,
he's in the opening, so
right. So it's just a matter of where they go with it.
Of course, yeah.
So, I think we're still on track. It's just the red lights are flashing a little bit.
Against that, I want to reinforce that both of these episodes were outstanding. They
absolutely.
Incredibly good.
Great episode.
In wildly different ways as well.
This is we will get into this with the last two shows on our list here, but like a straight, like not strangely, but like unusually really good looking season of anime, I think. Like, and not just in the like traditional ways, right? But like I think we are seeing like some of the most interesting art direction and compositioning and just like art choices in anime. This season,
Kinema Citrus put out a video of them like doing the few cell sequences in the opening, and they've got like shots of people putting it on the light box and like dusting it for dust and all that stuff. And I'm sorry, that stuff is just catnip.
No, it's very cool. It's like the old era of like when like like we certainly don't have time for it now, right? Yeah. But Ira and I are on our backlog hour, and one of the shows we were watching is Armored Trooper Votoms. And occasionally when it does that old trick of like to create a spotlight effect, it literally just shines a light on the cell. And it's always very cool.
Yeah. I feel like they're like, this is one of the, I feel like rare anniversary projects that's actually doing justice.
This might be like one of the only good anniversary projects I've ever seen.
It's extremely funny when you watch that video and see all the work they put in for like 4 seconds of animation.
Right. All crusty old guys who know how to work the stuff. Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah, so I mean, I do feel like they're actually doing that. It feels like they are putting in the actual extra effort to celebrate their anniversary. But
it feels like they're stretching their legs artistically as well.
It's cool.
Yeah.
I will give it the highest praise possible. It reminds me of Penguin Drum.
Yeah, it does.
That kind of mix of like
I gotcha.
Fairly dark subject matter with like fairy tale aesthetics, I think is the thing which does it there. But yes, the highest praise I can possibly muster.
I did think about that as well, Zig. There's a little bit of like, this is a little more straightforward, of course, because Penguin Drum, like 95% of the time you have no idea what the hell they're talking about, but in a good way, but at least in my opinion. But with this one, it's kind of a similar presentation, kind of almost the look of it is kind of almost...
It's a little like, it's a more character kind of like camaraderie focused show than Penguin Drum, which, typically of Ikuhara's work is sort of very like abstract. A very abstract theme driven show. But that same sort of like, fairy tale framing with sort of some darkness at the center of it. That's the thing that reminded me.
And the art direction, the way it manages to look both old and new at the same time is great. The animation's amazing, and a lot of it just really well done. So
it's real sad that when Brainspace, died in magma after producing Penguin Drum and never made anything else.
Well, anyway, let's that show's great. Let's move on to Jaadugar, which in Mongolia.
Another great show, I think.
Yep.
So we've got some more Fatima navigating history here as she, I think, is settling into her permanent position.
It's funny. I feel like after this many episodes, we can now unironically say,
we can really say,
does the real
Jaadugar starts now? Yes,
starts now.
I think so.
Yeah.
Given the because again, these are historical people. Yeah. Given the history, we know that she's in her kind of permanent spot now.
Right, I was going to say, is the main character also a historical figure?
I believe so.
Yes,
I will not say more than that.
Yes, we won't say more than that. Yes. Don't look it up if you don't want to know.
Yes. I would strongly emphasize
spoilers for history.
Spoilers for thousands of years ago.
Anyways,
so
ago, to pick up from the last time, basically, Sorgatani Becky, primary wife of Tolui Khan, wants to task Fatima with becoming a spy to basically observe and report on the sort of what she believes will be the inevitable fracturing of the brothers, right? And wants her to infiltrate Chagatai Khan's camp. And long story short, a little bit of a half-cocked plan here. I feel like maybe y'all could have. Maybe a little more work could have been done into figuring this one out, but it basically doesn't quite go according to plan. And to summarize, Fatima ends up instead in the services of Torkene Khatun, wife of Ogde Khan, right? And we sort of begin to get. Oh, before we get there, also just shout outs to we were introduced to some of Ogde Khan's other wives, including Kyrgyzstani, voiced by none other than Haruko Haruhara herself.
We
Mayumi Shintani.
We mentioned that last time. Yeah.
Did we? All right.
Yeah, we did see her briefly last time.
She has a couple more speaking lines here.
Always happy to see the star of Fooly Cooly Progressive out in.
How dare you?
Star of Gridman.
Yes. But basically we get Torgene's backstory here and sort of an explanation of why she possesses so much animosity for, at least in this version of the story, as portrayed, possesses so much animosity towards Ogde Khan and the Mongols, right? And, she herself, it's explained that she is basically, sold off in marriage from her original tribe, the Daemons, to the Merkit, which is all things that did indeed happen. And sort of how she finds, grows to appreciate her new life among the Merkit tribe, right? Sort of coming to terms with the reality of the purpose she served, pragmatically, but finding the real personal worth and value in her new family, and how this all sort of comes to an end at the hands of the growing and expanding Mongol tribe, I guess they would still be at this point. And I really liked this backstory episode for what I would say is, I think the thing I'm beginning to really appreciate about Jaadugar is I always knew that this story, because of Fatima's perspective, would ultimately be very critical of the Mongol Empire. It always sort of would not have a particularly sympathetic or kind lens to the Mongol Empire historically, right? I think that makes a lot of sense for, the viewpoint character we are watching this story. And the thing I am really glad about is the sort of nuanced and ultimately, I think, if not historically accurate, historically authentic portrayal of these figures and events that does not shy away from the sort of multifaceted aspect of these people and the worlds they inhabited. And I think that does a really good job of showing you that yes, these characters are driven by particular cultural backgrounds, political backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds, but ultimately they are all members of the sort of grander tapestry of human history, right? Because basically this all sort of culminates in the Merkit tribe is destroyed and conquered by the Mongols, right? And I think it would be very easy to simply portray this as, those evil, rapacious Mongols destroying this kind and peaceful tribe of steppe nomads. But historically, the Merkits were, another player in the game of the Central Asian steppes historically.
Right.
Like they were a rival tribe to the Mongols. They the chief of the Merkid, Dair, says under no certain terms, we have done great evil to the Mongols, and so they have done to us, right?
Yeah, no one side has a monopoly on atrocities in history.
Right. There's not a moral high ground that they're coming
exactly,
from
right?
Yes.
Like they are. This does not absolve the cruelty, but it is the reminder that in many ways the Merkid are simply the losers of the great game that was played here, and that does not invalidate Turgenev's resentment, but it helps contextualize it in this historical period, right?
I think that's one of the reasons why like the Mongol Empire is like one of the most fascinating periods of history, because of some of those like, I don't know, moral complexities and things, right? But
right, and
not to say that like, murdering people and whatnot
not
is
to say they did
ever
not kill
morally
a lot of people,
correct, but
yes,
there's also the flip side of I think in the past it's been very easy to depict the Mongols as like this like mindless horde of murderers that washed over the our white European people.
I was going to say that's very much the perspective of European historians,
the Oriental horde, right?
And, right, from from us coming from a Western background, it's very easy to fall into that, which they do not, right?
Like, honestly, I really appreciated, like, even if it's portrayed sympathetically, I really appreciate they portrayed the betrayal of the Merkits, because this is a real event, is that the Merkits initially surrendered to Genghis Khan, only to, like, launch a surprise attack on his, like, rear line, like shortly after. And so it's like, yeah, like, these are things that happened, and in many ways, Genghis Khan simply paid unto them what they did to him, right? As cruel as it may have been. And I think, like, I think in some ways it actually like makes Turgenev work for me, because it means that I am not rooting for her cause because it is righteous or just. You sympathize with her cause because of the personal angle of the suffering she has been dealt, right? And I think that makes it feel more human than just if they portrayed this as Turgenev and Fatima were purely in the moral right. And I think that's a deeply fascinating and highly respectable choice, I think, on this story's part to portray it that way. And I think that continues into the next episode, right, where we sort of get into like, okay, Ogade is emperor now, or he is the great Khan, right? So like, what happens next, right? And Ogde Khan, like, for better or worse, is as some like history fans will jokingly put it, Ogde Khan is the beginning of the gentrification of the Mongol Empire, right? Like, he is he is the leader that begins to transition the Mongols.
He wants to make a town.
Yeah, exactly. He begins to transition them from a steppe nomad society into a more sedentary one, a more traditional standing empire, and begins to explore the the pros and cons of this vision, right? And also why these actions will sort of inevitably invite a potential fracturing of the brothers, right? Because Ogde is, in some ways, he's the perfect guy for a peacetime ruler. But these are the Mongols, and conquering is still what they want to do, right? We got old little Lupin Tolui Khan over here being like, yeah, but we're not done conquering China, right? Like, we still got to beat up China.
So, I still can't get over the art style sometimes. Because like even within the show, there are depictions of like older people.
Yes.
And for some reason, the whole ruling family, they all look like they're 15.
They still look super moe. Yeah, it's very it's
hey man, gotta flatter the
it's amusing, like it's kind of funny, but also I just like, it's just a very I don't know.
I mean, there's like that shot of like when they're talking about how, as we all know, Tolui is the strongest of the brothers, and they have that one shot of him like fucking wielding a sword, riding a horse through the flames, and like it's a shot with a ton of aura,
with his Osumatsu-san face,
but also his Osumatsu-ass face. Yeah. It's very goofy. I love it. I do love it. Despite the contrast. But Yeah, I think this like latest episode is like, I mean, it's like Fatima and Torgena beginning like their plotting of like how they can potentially, divide the brothers, but also getting into we also are introduced to Burakshin, who was Ogde's first wife, as sort of the like intellectual, or at least so far as portrayed, as going to be potentially Fatima's intellectual equal coming from the other side, right? She is a sort of sickly and bedridden, but the implication here is like very well read, very intelligent, and more importantly, like despite her diminished status due to her sickliness, seems to be portrayed as still deeply loyal to the Mongol Empire. And I think this is a good introduction because, like, I think a show like this kind of can't have traditional antagonists, or not in the like material sense, right? Because at the end of the day, like, Fatima is at the mercy of literally any regular dude with a sword, right? And so introducing a sort of intellectual political opponent, I think that's just a very sensible thing to do for this kind of story.
Right.
So
yeah.
Very curious what they do with her.
They do a good job of kind of establishing like that when they're like coming to the exact same conclusion and saying the same words at the same time, right? I thought that was neat as like a way to kind of establish, who's on the other side, right?
Right. That like these people are not like people on both sides of this coming political conflict are not ignorant to what is happening here, right? And even if Tolui himself, at least so far as portrayed, is legitimately loyal to Ogde Khan, the reality is the political factors of his like highly successful generalship will inevitably bring divide to the empire,
right? Well, kind of what I mean. You get to a point where you're so big, whether you like it or not, those forces are probably going to move.
Look, man, if it could happen to Yang Wenli, it could happen to anybody.
Yes,
important
historical figure, Yang Wenli.
Look. There's a danger to winning too hard.
Yes, absolutely.
And boy,
can we be too based?
And boy, let me tell you, considering how well or poorly China acquits itself in this war, the Mongols might be winning a little too hard here. But
I wonder how we would ever know what happens. Well, I guess we'll have to wait until next.
Definitely couldn't just look up, the what was it called, the Yaihul campaign or whatever it's called. But anyways. And I think the last part that really interests me about this is kind of when we start getting to a little bit more of like Ogde, right? Because despite the fact that he's been showing up a lot, he hasn't really done much other than sort of, smile gently at people and wave his hands and
drink from his giant cup of
his big
booze.
cup, Ogde's big cup. And
now there's a merchandising idea.
yes, the Ogde Khan big gulp.
Yeah, I'd buy an Ogde's big cup.
Yeah, but is this sort of like, as we kind of mentioned earlier, sort of the multifaceted aspect of the Mongol Empire, right? Which is international trade probably does not flourish in the way it does during this 50 years until maybe the modern era. Like the way the Silk Road flourishes under like Mongol rule is like one of those like, it's so unique it basically is it never gets replicated again for like centuries. Like,
you know how they did it? Tariffs.
God.
Yes, that's the answer to all your financial problems.
That like, and I think it's like a really fascinating choice to continue like introducing other characters, like some from Fatima's homeland, where like she's like, wait, you're from my hometown and you're like all the way out here in Mongolia? Like, why would you do that? Like, why would you come meet these barbarous savages? And they're like, bro, like they protect the trade routes. They like pay top dollar for our goods. Like, okay, yeah, sure, they did burn down our town and kill off our people, but like once we rebuilt, like
yeah, that was like 10 years ago.
That's nothing compared to capitalism.
Things are better than ever. And
yeah.
It gets into that interesting thing of like, the conquest was not good, but the thing that sprung from the ashes of the conquest is arguably better than what was there before. And
you can't go back and change the conquest, so you might as well live it up a bit.
Yes, and it's
it's that, not that it justifies necessarily conquest, but it does show that like time moves on, right?
Yes,
and that people will recover.
Like, to be clear, I think Fatima will always be our viewpoint character, but I kind of like that we're slowly beginning to develop this, like, oh, Fatima is the one stuck in time, right? Like,
yes,
like other people are, moving on, whether they should or not, whether like it's fair of them to have to move on or not, like whatever moral judgment you want to make there. However you feel, people must.
You got to keep living.
They must
right?
live.
You have to keep doing. Yeah.
Fatima is the one who is maybe going to lose herself to this revenge, and I think that's a really fascinating place for your protagonist to occupy in a story like this.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that comes back to we've mentioned she is a historical figure. I don't really remember exactly what happens, but it's like the question of does this become a the revenge isn't worth it scenario or something. I don't know, or how they're going to spin it. I don't know, but yeah, just still very good. I feel like there is a lot of just like history in this, which is good.
Yes,
but it's it's interesting because it's like obviously the art style is very unique, looks beautiful, some really nice animation. I do feel like it's if you take away the visuals, it is a very straightforward show as far as like dialogue and writing and everything.
I think like yes, it is a you could it does feel a bit dry in some places. There's a little bit of that like, oh, the narrator is reading a passage from an encyclopedia.
Yeah.
And I think the art helps that a lot, right? The art helps like elevate that into something that feels more artistic, more creative.
And to some degree, because it is real history, it's kind of more passable, I guess. But it's just I'm not even trying to nitpick, just an observation of like,
no, I get you.
Compared to some of the other shows that we have this season, this like the presentation of this, aside from the visuals, is actually surprisingly straightforward in how they're like presenting the facts and the dialogue and everything, which is not necessarily bad, just an observation, I guess. But yeah, it's very good.
It's good.
Look, I know I went on my history hour there, so if you guys have more thoughts than that on Jaadugar, please feel free to chime in.
I don't know. I mean, other than what I just said, I mean, that was kind of the only other thing I was thinking.
Okay.
But I think most of what you said I would agree with. Yeah, good show. All right. So let's end with The Ghost in the Shell. I'm going to be real with you guys. I don't remember what happened in these episodes at all, or at least enough to explain what happens. Other than there's some really cool, some of the, again, we talk about good looking shows this season. This is probably the best one. And there's some really amazing sequences and stuff in here, but I couldn't really tell you what happened in these episodes.
I
there
think,
was like,
I think these episodes kind of led me to a conclusion, which is, I think this show might be kind of mid.
Like when we talk about, I think we've said before, letting it just wash over you. It definitely just washed over me. Like, I guess, and I feel like there's a formula here with like every episode. There's like some like corrupt politician or runaway government official.
Aramaki meets a nebulously political figure from some section or department,
and is probably doing something bad, and they stop it, and it just like I'm not really following enough what's going on, and then by the time I'm figuring out, it's over.
The bad guy is a random dude who we've never seen before and who has never been set up to be anything really.
And then and it's I don't know. I'm trying not to be harsh because I think I am enjoying the show just from the spectacle of it, but just like it really is just going in one ear and out the other for me on it. And just one final note, because I'll turn it back over to you, G, as far as your thoughts. But it's kind of bugging me in 2026 that they're just cops.
Look, that is like very much part of the Ghost in the Shell subtext.
I know, and I know it's a different time too, right, and everything.
The Major's always been a cop.
The Major was always a cop. Like
you got to take.
Japan has a very different relationship with the police.
Yeah, and if I was watching this or reading it 30 years ago, I probably would have a very different perspective on it myself, but specifically in 2026.
Yes. And I think
it's like in 2026 is bugging me that they're just cops.
And I think that's fair. And I think it's like that is like one of those aspects of like, I think anytime you interact with like police fiction, this is like a thing you need to square with, right? Like I will stand by, as you know, since we've recently rewatched it, Standalone Complex is still one of my favorite anime of all time. That show is a police procedural. Like, truly. Like, that is a show about cops doing cop shit. And
to be clear, the police procedural is an incredibly compelling format.
It is.
There's a reason people keep making them.
It is like fundamentally probably like whether they're actually cops or not, the narrative framework of the police procedural is like one of my favorite narrative framing devices in all of fiction. Like
because it's basically a detective story, but with like the opportunity to introduce a much larger and more varied cast.
Yes, and you know,
and it gives you the opportunity to have gunfights and chase.
Yes, there's also the unspoken
setting.
Potential for violence, right? Which is just
in a modern setting that would make sense, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Iro, now that you're here, I can finally have you back me up on this show. But,
what?
Hey, come on! I know you're enjoying this show too.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
But so I think episode 4. The most stark thing about episode 4 is the steady realization that, Ghost in the Shell Innocence by Mamoru Oshii is just an extremely dour adaptation of the manga chapter Robot Rondo, which is what
this episode portrays.
Yeah, I think that's been the like goofy thing about watching this, because of course I know that this is like a much more direct shot for shot adaptation of the manga, and so yes, watching this show and then realizing like how actually the previous versions of Ghost in the Shell that I have seen are like
deviations.
Well, like how much they are like not actually deviating that much.
They are all echoes and reflections,
right? And it's like I think I had it in my head that's like.
You've seen Innocence, right?
I have, yes. Okay. And so, like, I think I had it in my head that, like, oh, these shows are, like, just taking the, like, world and vibes of Ghost in the Shell and doing their own things. And it's like, no, they're just straight up adapting parts from.
It's kind of the opposite, where the plot is the same, but it's the vibes that are different. Yeah. Right?
This is actually why, like, my Galaxy Brain take is this is actually why Standalone Complex is the best of the adaptations, because it is probably the one that like diverges the most. To be clear, it does not like it is still taking many aspects of the original manga, but like, it is maybe the one that is like taking the most divergent swings. But also.
To be clear, G, like, I know that some Standalone Complex episodes were basically direct adaptations of manga chapters. We have not had one of those yet, have we? It's been a while since I've seen Standalone Complex.
And this is the funny thing, right? Like, as a sort of aside, Iro and I recently watched the final of the good Standalone Complex, the movie Solid State Society.
Right.
And
one of the greatest names for a movie.
I did not think of it at the time I had watched it. Solid State Society is just an adaptation of the first episode of this anime. It's about them having to infiltrate a government facility, brainwashing kids, and they fight 3 dudes in power armor. It's kind of wild.
And then also the end of the Puppet Master is stapled onto the back.
It's kind of wild. But anyways, so episode 4, I think it's very fascinating from that perspective, as somebody who's engaged with so much Ghost in the Shell media, to see its like original nascent form, and both its like really interesting, unique aspects and also some of its warts, right? Like, I think it's always going to be a little weird thinking about just how blasé this show treats human suffering. And how like largely morally apathetic Section 9 is to like the plight of like the average person.
That's cyberpunk, baby.
But like also they're fucking cops. right? Like they're not just cops, they are super cops. They are cops given even more extrajudicial like authority over taking life than even normal cops, right? Like,
I mean, they're basically a paramilitary.
Yeah, and so I guess in some ways their like utterly blasé attitude towards like human suffering is probably the most realistic thing about them.
It is very much a trademark of some of the early cyberpunk works that had much more punk in them. You know, that sort of like the arrogant, sort of cruel part of their depiction.
Like even if these people aren't punks, they're like they're like
they are blasé about human life.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's the part that feels quote unquote punk.
And I think it's like, yes, that makes sense in the setting, but also
doesn't necessarily make you feel good watching it, right?
Yeah,
it's
like
not
I
even
don't.
a case of feeling good. It's just my major issue with this episode was that, like, look, okay, confession time. I've not seen Innocence in a long time, and I did not particularly enjoy it when I saw it. But also,
it's not necessarily an enjoyable movie.
But also,
but
I think you should watch it again sometime.
Yeah, I think I should as well, especially after I recently rewatched Ghost in the Shell and enjoyed it a lot more. But the thing is, like, at least that movie had substance. You know, it felt like it was trying to say something, I don't really know what this is saying.
So,
like,
Ira, I think
it just feels kind of hollow.
Ira, you want to go first?
I'm thinking of how to phrase this, like
as offensively as possible. Please.
No. But like,
Are you about to say, does Oshi's movies actually have substance, or do they just have the presentation of substance?
Yeah,
but the presentation of substance is something,
right? No, but then, but then at some point, what is the difference? I guess is also what I'm like wondering.
Sure, and
the presentation is very can be very important.
Of course,
right?
We just
and
said
so it's
Jaadugar,
right, and so it's like if I put episode 4 and Innocence like side by side, like they are still exploring the same themes. It's just one is doing it like 24 minutes as if like you took a bong hit on the couch and you're eating pizza, and the other one is like you took a bong hit and
maybe a stronger
and then
bong
you took
hit.
another bong hit and then you took another bong hit and then you went to mass and then you're secretly taking bong hits like at the back of the cathedral,
at the sermon,
right? Yeah.
For those of you who have not seen Innocence, this is actually a really good description.
Yeah.
No, look,
it's like I'm a little bit reminded of like this is almost a non sequitur. Like people put so much like weight on Evangelion because it said angel and Jesus, and
and the actual answer was that Anno liked Ultraman a lot.
Right.
And I think this could be Oshi as well, right?
Right, a bit, and it's like. But also, like, Oshi has often explored that stuff in deeper ways than, for example, Evangelion. And so, it's just like it's all this like presentational. It's very like, what presentation do you prefer more, right?
Yes.
And it's like
I'm not arguing that one is objectively better than the other, but what I am saying is that I preferred Oshi.
Yes,
and I think that's very fair, right? Like I think.
By virtue of being 90 minutes long, exploring the same themes, it will inherently give those themes more time to percolate. Like it will inherently, even if all of the words said are the same words, like the time and presentation, like just immediately creates a different. Like yes, it will put more weight on those things.
Right.
It will become more of a meditation on the concepts.
My argument is not that like. These two works are exploring the themes in different ways.
Exactly.
I do not think that the TV show is interested in exploring those themes. I do not think it attempts to engage with them.
I don't know if I fully agree. Like, I think Shiro Masamune was very interested in exploring these themes. He was working in a fundamentally different.
And I think right, and I think then we are getting into the difference between a manga and an anime, right?
Yes.
Like I think there's so much dialogue.
Yeah.
There is so much dialogue and words in
and
this.
all of it is so empty.
Like,
right, but I guess like when it's on a page and you can read it and then you like think about the page that you're reading and like can do that instead of now we're doing something else because we only have 20 minutes and we got to go on to the next page.
If I can just jump in the middle of this as someone who has no other Ghost of the Shell experience other than vaguely remembering watching the movie on VHS 30 years ago.
Oh yeah.
That's the true experience.
And so I remember almost nothing other than Hot Robot Lady.
Yep.
I'm getting nothing out of the TV show beyond the cool style. Like, I mean, I'm not even talking about like themes and stuff. I don't even know if there's a plot. If there's a plot, I don't know.
It's just criminal of the week.
I also do think this show, is very dense, and so I do think that is fair. I think like the analogy I want to bring up here, like
I completely disagree. It's not dense; it's empty.
I see. Again, I think I don't know. Is some of the techno jargon just jargon? Yes, but I do actually think that like there's just a lot of information is being communicated in rather short periods of time. But anyways, the thing I wanted to bring up is like the thing I constantly think of when we have these types of conversations is like the comparison between like Naoki Urasawa's Pluto and the original Osamu Tezuka's like strongest robot in the world storyline. And the reason why I bring that up is like, of course, the Tezuka version is so much like more rudimentary. It's like so much more basic than the Pluto version, and
yeah, but it's better.
I think, but like the point I'm bringing up is like, you know, the Pluto version doesn't get to exist if the like Tezuka version was not trying to do the same thing, but with a more limited vocabulary. And I think that is just the like reality of like mediums evolve, mediums have different restrictions, and so like I think like it does not, as Zero says, I don't think it's surprising that like, especially depending on your preferences, that Oshi having 90 minutes to cook is going to hit a lot harder than, you know, a single chapter of a manga or a 24 episode TV.
I simply don't agree with the time thing. I think if you took the first 24 minutes of the Oshi movie, it is
time is a like one aspect of the package, right? I guess.
Right. I'm just saying that I don't necessarily agree that, you know, and again, my argument is not necessarily that the Oshi movie is better. It's that I'm just not getting anything out of the TV show.
Sure. Okay.
Aside from this looks really stylish. And yes, it does. It looks incredible. It's a lot of fun to see everybody explode and squish and stretch and do zany faces and stuff. That's fine. That's fun. I'm just not really getting anything more than that.
Yeah.
That's I don't think. So, I don't think I expected to get more out of this.
We don't need to,
right? Like,
I mean, like at some point, we're just disagree on it, right? Which is
and everything is completely understandable to me. I think.
And we all have different perspectives coming into this, and like, you know,
it's cool that you have so many different versions of Ghost of the Shell.
Yes,
go ahead, sorry. Go ahead, Jill.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like
I'm a Ghost in the Shell Arise person.
Oh God, yeah. I think I'm, you know, like I think I'm kind of mostly in the same boat as Zig, where it's just like I feel like even if, you know, I went back and actually figured out what happened in the episode and everything, I still don't. The impression I get is that it's still not going to amount to really anything particularly meaningful to me. But maybe I'm wrong. But maybe that is a presentation. Maybe that is a presentation thing. You know, when they splash the little text explanation at the bottom, and you have like literally 2 seconds to process what you're saying, while another conversation is going on top of that. Yes, it is very hard to process all that.
It's one of those things that reminds you that this is an adaptation of a manga where like
and
manga could get away with these types of things.
And in my brain, I'm thinking if you're not giving me time to think about it, it must not be important.
Right.
So maybe it is. I don't know, but that's where I'm coming from and what my experience has been so far with like no other context. But it's I don't
know. As someone who has enjoyed like many interpretations of Ghost of the Shell, I continue to have a really fun time with this show. I think I think this show makes a lot more sense
in dialogue as part of like that greater web of look at all the ways we have spun this basic story.
Yeah.
And
that's how I'm enjoying it.
I would like to be able to talk about these episodes. We haven't even gotten to that yet.
Yes.
Like,
oh, Lord.
Like, you guys are spending a lot of pod, and I'm sorry, I still have like 30 more minutes of specific like minutiae of these 2 episodes I'd like to get into. But yeah, I guess we could do the quick version of this, which is episode 4. Yes, the adaptation. The the weird connections to innocence.
Rondo.
I think there's just like a lot of fun cyberpunk imagery in this episode. Shout outs to like, the thing I continue to appreciate. Obviously I love every version of the Major, but I really appreciate that they keep giving like a new outfit to Motoko every episode. Like she really has some like all-timer fits in these series of episodes. Shout outs to just realizing that the like box, the brain in a box, like the CEO who's just like a brain in a like
that was very
robot
funny,
box. That's in Standalone Complex too, and I was like, oh shit, right, of course that would be a thing from the manga. But I really love he's got his like fucking like DJ like fucking audio deck thing, but it's just like 20 ports all labeled different types of smoke.
Right. Which drug do I want today?
Yes, the ultimate smoker.
Which is just a lot of fun.
I like that he's defeated by just falling into a crack between 2 boxes, basically.
Very,
not so improved efficiency body now, are
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's like, wait, because I was trying to remember, it's like, wait, what was the justification for these like box bodies again, right? Like, I think in Standalone Complex, they just say, oh, the CEO of this company is eccentric and doesn't want a human body. And it's like, okay, sure, I guess, but
he's looking to save on travel costs.
I guess
just
so,
gets
right?
shipped in the mail every week.
Indeed. But yeah, just there's that. Togusa finally gets to start being a little competent, which good for him. Does he even knock himself out on accident this episode? I don't recall. So he's
there's the lovely bit where he like. First he does like beat up the henchman, but there's the really funny bit where he pops out of the manhole cover.
Like right, ready to start blasting.
It's facing the wrong direction.
Very good. But and I guess if we want to get into episode 5 here, right, which is I would say this one is actually for me probably like the densest and maybe hardest to follow episode of this show so far, where they're dealing with like secret dealings between corporations and the Soviet Union. Like in many ways, like I feel like episode 5 is, but also I think there's like some fascinating aspects of 5 where this feels like so far maybe, if not for the art style, this to me would be the most tonally serious episode of the season so far. Like you could almost transplant this like plot line directly into Standalone Complex, and
right,
I think it would fit right in. It's a little bit more dour. Like there's still the comedy bits,
Puma sisters and all.
Yes, shout out to the cameo appearance from the Puma sisters.
Yes. I did appreciate that. Yes.
I'm telling you, Jel, sign Saru's Dominion Tank Police any day now.
We have to keep speaking it into existence.
Yes.
Yeah, this show is so hot it caused a revival in the Dominion Tank Police fandom.
Time for Appleseed to come back.
God.
Well,
Appleseed's fine too, but I really, really love the Major's outfit in this episode. The leather tactical gear with the red arm guards. It's giving like really strong Venom Snake from Metal Gear Solid 5. Really, really strong look. Just that shot of her like chilling on top of the Fuchikoma as the snow falls is like some real like, you look at that shit and you say like, oh, type shit for real when you see an image like that, right? Just like, oh, like what's that meme that like men only want one thing and it's disgusting?
Oh, yeah.
Like just show the screenshot of the Major chilling on top of her spider tank in the snow of a cyberpunk city. Like, is that not what all men...
screenshot from Snatcher.
Is this not what all men yearn for in the end? Is to lounge on your militarized spider tank in the snow?
Indeed.
But Yes, just some really strong imagery in this
Shout
episode.
outs to the Fuchikoma trying to form a union and falling at the first hurdle.
Yes, sadly. Also, in this version of the story, we find out that Bato's decision to favor his Fuchikoma by giving it an organic oil is a really dumb decision because his Fuchikoma just completely fucks up this episode, which is
right.
a
It's
fun
like the
touch.
natural oil like
Freezes
up or something. Yeah.
Yeah. But man, yeah, that sequence with the Puma sisters actually, like, it's like, you know, when we just like joked about like how like in the ideal version of Sayonara Lara, it's just like we spent like 3 episodes on the bakery, like that like 30-second montage in the like where they meet the Puma sisters, where it's just like a fucking sick ass cyberpunk city. It's like that's like some of the strongest anime cyberpunk vibes I think I've ever seen in my life. Like.
Yeah.
Like, you got, like, a fucking tank rolling through the street. You got a dude, like, cyber-rising a T-Rex skull or something.
Yeah,
I don't know what the fuck is going on there. You just look at that and you go, like, man, artists used to just, like, not even care. They would just draw cool shit for the sake of drawing cool shit. And, like, perhaps a more pure form of art. I don't know. But, yeah, I think in terms of the actual plot itself, like, you know, there's a lot of like, oh, Bato is on edge because you know, his rookie cop that we never met until this episode got killed. You know, there's, you know, government conspiracies. Like, it's definitely like dense, and this is like the first episode for me personally where I will grant you it almost veers into this is like a little harder to enjoy territory for me. Like I had to go back and like rewatch that episode myself, just like pausing and like really reading the dialogue to understand what was going on. So I definitely will say I think that is like a real like weakness of this show. Like, and I think a real struggle of adapting what was a very text heavy manga into the medium of animation. But,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think I feel like we agree that is a valid point, but just to the degree of how much it is dampening our enjoyment of it is different.
I think that's the thing. That is what will vary from person to person. And I think for me, while I do recognize the struggle there, I just think the strength of the presentation of the show and like what they've accomplished here, and hell, I even admitted it like last podcast. Like, I don't think this will ever go down in history as like my favorite take on Ghost of the Shell, but I am like never going to not appreciate that we finally have a like manga accurate adaptation of this story of these characters. And you know, there are real strengths and weaknesses here without a doubt, but it's very cool to finally see some of this stuff realized. Shout outs to go ahead.
I think from that regard it seems like they're doing a fantastic job, right?
For sure. I think it's like if you and so that's the thing, right? I think we've all sort of established our preferences here, but like if you were somebody who really loves the manga portrayal, man, you're probably eating really good right now, right? Like this is like it must be awesome to finally like see it realized this way and to such
with some of like the best animation we've seen in like years.
I'm not smart enough to know the exact technical terms for for what's going on here, but like, do you guys remember the sequence where like she takes out the portable CD player to like hack the computer and like?
Oh yeah, the like glitch effects.
It like artifacts into her hacking mode, and it starts off as one form of like artifacting, and then transitions into a second type of digital artifact.
That was very good.
That might be the coolest fucking visual trick I have ever.
I was like, did my stream mess up?
Right,
right. Because first it's like the bitrate dying, which is like one version of like again, I don't know the terms well enough for like what type of artifacting that is versus like the streaky version. It's
but it makes you for a second actually go, hang on, did my thing glitch out?
That is like.
That was very cool.
Speaking of cool shots, I have to hijack this temporarily. I forgot to mention it when we were discussing Sayonara Lara, but that last shot of her looking in the mirror and then the fragment with her eye falling out is also a very good shot.
Yeah.
Okay, please resume your service.
But yeah, just really, I think visually, like, I don't know, just like, I think every Ghost in the Shell has done really interesting, fun stuff with their portrayals of like technology and cyberspace and transhumanism, but I think at least on a visual and presentational level, I think The Ghost in the Shell easily stands right up there with the rest of them. Like, I think the ways in which they've chosen to portray this technology, this future, is so damn cool to me.
Yeah. It is interesting how, like, even just time changes the context of that stuff, where that almost feels like retro nostalgic now, right?
Yeah.
Whereas before that might have been cool, high tech, cutting edge.
Yeah,
there's a lot of analog technology in this
which is
story,
very
right?
good.
Yeah. Also, I feel like that final shot of Motoko pointing the gun and saying "life's a bitch" is going to be like the go-to reaction image for at least the next few months.
Yeah. All right. Did you have anything else you want to get out of the tank?
No, I'm good. Like, look, I totally think you guys are like valid with your criticisms of this show.
I didn't want to. I'm sorry if I rained on your parade.
No, it's all good. It's just I just think there's a lot of stuff worth highlighting about what I think Science Star is doing really well with this adaptation.
I do like how whenever we divide on something, we divide into perfectly equal teams of two.
What?
I do feel like Iro, we jumped you a couple times, but yeah.
I think it's great we can have so many different versions of Ghost of the Shell. It's really neat.
Choose a side, Iro.
I saw what happened last podcast. I knew I had to rhetorically conscript Iro to my side, or else I was going to be doomed here. All right.
All right. Well, okay. I think now that I've mostly gotten that out of my system, that's not something we need to hit every single time. But I felt. Particularly with episode 5, I was just like really feeling it. But I will say, like, I'm still watching the show. Like, of course, it's so cool, like, to watch that. Like, I can't deny that, right?
I mean, for better or worse, this is the most hype moments and aura coated version of Ghost in the Shell.
We need new parlance.
I know.
We cannot keep
we're just trying to stay relatable to the kids.
No, also the fact that now we the old
kids can shut the fuck up.
This term is already for old people. I'm sure they've already moved.
Oh yeah, we've probably already moved on to other things.
The kids have probably already moved on to Shui.
Whatever you say, you seem to always know the new Zoomer slang. I don't know why.
Are you accusing G of being a secret Zoomer?
No, I'm accusing him of looking at Twitter.
I spend too much time on Twitter. Yes, that's probably the real answer. Look, it's part of my profession.
I told you.
I have a vested professional interest in staying relevant on social media.
What could possibly be more cyberpunk than a series of horrible things depicted in the coolest possible manner?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, I said we wouldn't have a record-breaking show, but hey, we got there. Just a lot of good stuff happening. A lot to talk about.
Really strong season, truly.
So yeah, just whether it's anime of the year contenders or just really good shows, there's a lot of stuff going on. So let's enjoy it while we can. All right. Well, then that will do it for this episode. Let's do our housekeeping. You can check us out at theglorioblog.com and on Blue Sky at the Glorio Blog. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, Stitcher. Of course, YouTube, where you can like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, all those good things. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, and we will catch you next time.